In a studio that's in a basement comes the epic story of how two friends changed the future of the movie podcast game forever. The reviews are in. Boys Life magazine gives the High Side podcast 4.5 acorns. The Daily Bugle says, these guys are super legit. And Pope Francis declares the podcast as life-affirming. From the kid who tried to get smart with David Spade and got fucking old.
You're still out. You're still bad.
And the guy who can name all four Baldwin brothers.
Alec, William, Daniel, and the baby boy, Stephen.
Live from the studio of his parents' basement. The Have You Seen It podcast.
Welcome back to the Have You Seen It podcast. My name is Mason Knight.
And I'm Cash Krause.
There you go.
I'll introduce myself this time.
Yeah, you will.
Let me say it's 2020.
It is 2020.
I feel like I haven't seen you in a decade.
I
just made that up. I just made it up.
Great.
Oh, it's not going to get any better than that.
No, it won't. It won't. It won't.
But yeah, we made it.
We did.
2020, that seems like a future year.
Yeah, it does.
If you saw a movie in 1980 that was set in the future, it was most likely set in 2020.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, a lot of futuristic
It's when the
films.
Jetsons were set.
That's what I was about to say, the
And
Jetsons.
man, were they fucking off on that prediction.
So far off, it was gross. Actually,
we're not taking meals in pill form.
No, we're
not
not.
a single
we're
flying
not
car.
in space.
Yeah.
Spaceships
No.
in general.
No. We're not. Yeah, we're not up in the stars. It's
a
not
little
right.
disappointing.
We don't have robot
actually.
maids,
Nope.
which I was promised very early on.
I know. We got the.
We have robot
got
sex
Roombas.
dolls.
Well, we have the Roombas. Yeah, they go around and vacuum.
Yeah.
So that we're getting close.
And those things are close to taking over. I got a feeling.
They are.
Even that low amount of AI.
They're sweeping up not just
Yeah, well,
dust.
they're sweeping up ideas
Right,
as
they
well.
are.
That's
They're
the problem.
listening. They're listening.
But it's 2020. I didn't think we'd make it. The Mayans said we didn't have a chance.
No, I think after 2012 they said adios.
They said it ain't
amigos.
happening. 2020, it's not even gonna. We're not even gonna make a calendar for the year,
Right.
Because it ain't happening.
Because it's not happening. Like,
But,
you're not going to make it.
But 2019, Mason, what a year!
Oh, on a serious note, what a year for film.
It was a year
Once we started going through our list of top 10, this was the hardest
for
year
good
for this podcast.
and bad.
For good
There
and
was
bad.
there
yeah.
was
There were,
high highs and low lows.
but man, there were a lot of high highs this year. There are a lot of awesome. I thought 2019, since we started the podcast in 2016, this has been the best year for film. I think.
Possibly.
I think so because I
It's
remember doing
very-
the top 10 lists, 2 years ago and then last year, and it wasn't anything close to this list
Yeah.
that we have here. Like we were blessed. We were
It
very
was good.
fortunate.
Yeah.
This
It was
year.
definitely a year for remakes, reboots,
Right.
reimagining,
And that's where our
sequels,
worst of
prequels.
That's where our worst of list.
2000 was the year of limited ideas, but the small amount of original ideas we got were great.
They were great.
They
Yeah.
were fucking amazing. The ones that squeaked through. But yeah. So this is our top 10 episode, top 10 films of 2019,
Yep.
and our bottom 5 films
Worst
of 2019.
which we could have also filled up a whole.
Exactly. I
Top
could
10
have
worst.
for every good film there might have been 50 bad ones. So we could have, but we had to. We had to
Way to
lower
make
it.
do with what we did. Yeah.
We only did 5 because this isn't a podcast just about talking about shitty films. Although we do it once in a while.
We do.
But yeah, top 10. Should we dive right into it?
Yeah, let's just jump into it.
You give me one.
Okay, so this film, I don't know if you've seen. Are we doing top 10 first?
Yeah, we'll
Let's
do
jump into
yeah,
top
do a couple good ones, then we'll sprinkle in a bad one,
Okay.
and then we'll keep doing it that way.
So I'm just gonna go from because I had mine in sequential order, so I'll
Sure.
just go for 10 on mine. Top 10 list of the year of 2019. This movie actually just made it. I watched it 2 days ago because there was a lot of buzz around this film
Yeah.
all year. And this director, her name's Jennifer Kent, and she directed The Babadook. I think back in 2017
Yeah.
or 16, a few years back.
One of the scariest films
Very, very
of
good
probably the
film.
last decade.
Yo, absolutely, it was
The Babadook
terrifying.
is terrifying.
She did a fantastic job on this, and her new film out this year is called Nightingale, And this film is basically, without giving away too much.
And I have not seen this film.
Something
but I have heard
horrible
of it.
happens to this lady in 1825 because she's an Irish immigrant. She comes over, and then the English are in control, and they kind of use her as a slave. And something horrible comes back, and it's a revenge plot. This whole film,
Yeah,
and
love that.
it was obviously it made my top 10, but one of the best films of the year for me. Not only was the acting incredible, but the storyline was great. The directing was great. I absolutely love this movie. Like, I highly recommend check this out. Because this actually bumped my original number 10, which we can talk about your list as well. So I'll just throw in another one here.
Yeah, go ahead.
But before Nightingale hit top 10, John Wick 3 was at that 10 spot, which then bumped down to honorable mention.
Yeah, and I will go ahead and follow that with I'll go ahead and just bring it up. John Wick, John Wick 3 made my top 10. It actually made my number 3, and it's tied with another film that we'll talk about later.
Okay.
But it is
number
tied.
3 on your list.
Number 3, yeah, I loved
It was
John
incredible.
Wick 3. It was incredible, man. What a series. Arguably top 5 best trilogy of all time, I think.
Absolutely. And as far as action, it surpasses everything else.
And none of those films...
In good, authentic...
Exactly,
you
yeah.
know,
And it doesn't dumb it down like most action
no.
films. We've talked about it a million times, but doesn't dumb it down. And it's just every one of those films has kept its quality from the first one, and you put it all on Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
I mean, that man is, he's on fucking fire right now.
Yes, he is.
I mean, the world, he might be the most beloved man in the world at this moment.
Well, he's got to be. People just love him. Anytime that guy's picture pops up on Twitter or Facebook or anything, it was like, oh, we love
People
Keanu.
just fucking love him. That guy can't do any wrong. And we know in 2020, Matrix and John Wick 4 are coming out on the same day. They're calling it Keanu Reeves Day.
That is crazy.
So we have.
I wonder what day that'll officially be, because they're probably just gonna mark that day on the calendar.
It's already
like,
marked. It's already. I can't remember, like May or March or something like that.
okay.
Later on, summer or something like that. Yeah, but they're.
And The Matrix is on Netflix now, and I've been tempted to watch it, but I kind of want to do a review on it.
I know.
I'm gonna watch it.
I know. I almost don't want you to watch it without.
Until we do a review.
But yeah,
on
John Wick 3, I loved it, man. I mean, because we didn't have very many good action films this year.
No, not very many.
We did.
Well, the
not
problem
have...
with the action movies nowadays is they always try to one up each other.
Yeah.
So you have this Hobbs and Shaw instance.
Yeah.
Where it's like it's so far over the top that you're just the whole time you're like, none of this happens in real life. I like those action movies that you can believe, like Heat.
Oh yeah.
Like Heat. 95,
I can believe it. Of this. Oh yeah.
Like, that movie's fucking incredible. All those scenes, and then you get into the lore or whatever, the behind the scenes work. All that shit's like realistic.
Yeah.
How they go. I love those kind of action films.
Yeah, and John Wick, in John Wick, he's doing insane things, but you believe the character because his character is a badass,
Yes.
and they don't give us enough like background information for us to dispute or anything. We just believe it. Where in like Hobbs and Shaw, where The Rock, he's just supposed to be an everyday man. He's supposed to be just like a regular guy. And
Joe.
Vin Diesel, he's just supposed to be like a regular guy. He would just race cars. Now he's like fucking a spy for some reason. Exactly. So even though John Wick 3, the things are insane, but it's so well written and the characters are so believable. It never takes you out of the film.
The action's so good too that it doesn't leave you going, oh god, that was fake.
It's not doing anything where he's kicking a guy and he's flying 30 feet into a wall like The Rock does. Yeah.
Well, and then you have the knife scenes too, where it's like, oh wow, that shit actually does happen. Where they threw the knives and some of them didn't stick.
Exactly.
Yeah, some of them didn't.
We talk about it all the time, but
did.
the small details like that are things that
which bring you into the realm of possibility.
Yeah, absolutely.
Instead of, you're right, The Rock kicking some dude 55 feet through a window and then he falls out of a building and you're like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, so John Wick 3 is my 3, tied with another movie that we'll get into later. So that's so that was Nightingale and John Wick 3. Should we do a bottom?
Yeah, let's do a bottom.
Okay.
So let's you want to go with like a number 4 and number 5?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, I mean, you want me to go?
Well, I mean, we
already know. Yeah, let's do. I'll go ahead and let's start out with Hellboy as one of my worst films.
Yes.
My top 5 isn't ranked in any order. These are all films are pretty shitty, but Hellboy. Yeah, let's talk about Hellboy.
Hellboy was hellish on everyone.
I was so fucking excited for this movie.
I know you were.
You know I was.
Yeah,
Hellboy is one of my favorite. The Guillermo del Toro Hellboys are still two of the best comic book movies in my opinion.
And they still hold up.
Absolutely. Yeah. So to get another Hellboy, it wasn't with Guillermo del Toro, which scared me at the first, but I was confident because it had David Harbour on it.
Yeah. Who's great. The Stranger
Who's been on fire.
Sheriff.
Yeah, he's been doing everything. And
honestly, as far as like him playing Hellboy, I was initially excited for it because I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
you know?
He's a Ron Perlman-esque kind of guy,
definitely.
big burly kind of guy, But what a they just dumbed down the source material and made it so stupid and just
it also
CGI ridden.
Yeah. It also felt like kind of like a video game where it was like, okay, you got to conquer this quest, then this quest, and then this.
There's no real story. You're just moving point A to point B
to
point, and then at the very end, something crazy happened. But to go from Guillermo del Toro where he just relied 90% on practical effects, real monsters and everything, it
real
was just
blood and everything.
You could not have gone from a complete 180 in film. I mean. They didn't take anything from Guillermo del Toro.
No, they didn't, and they definitely should have. Lesson learned for those. I did. Studio execs.
That was one movie I was just scratching my head at.
But if I remember correctly, there were a lot of fighting. Like the studio, there were a lot of different people trying to get their hands into Hellboy.
As in probably every single one of our bottom five, it probably has that similar story. But that is one of my worst, and that was on your list too as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Right, Hellboy. I couldn't fucking believe it. What a disappointment.
Yeah,
I have another movie on here that might have been equally disappointed on my bottom five.
Whoa, really?
Yeah. But all right, let's go back to top 10.
Okay. So another one on my top 10. I know this one didn't hit yours, so we can kind of talk about it as part of an honorable mention too, because we do have quite a few honorable mentions. Yeah. But for me, number 9 was Rocket Man.
Yes.
I really love this. I thought Taron Egerton did a fantastic job as Elton John. I really just all around enjoyed this film from top to bottom.
And Rocket Man was it made my honorable mentions. It was right up there, man. Yeah. It was so, and we just saw that Taron Egerton won the Golden Globe for best in a comedy, which he fucking deserved it, man, for his singing.
Yes,
because we have to point out he sings all the songs in Rocket Man,
all the original. He put his own twist on each and every one of those songs.
Yeah, he's not doing just a direct 1-to-1.
His own rendition.
He's not doing a 1-to-1 impression of Elton John. He's doing his own thing.
Yep,
and it's fucking works. I liked. If you want to compare that to Bohemian Rhapsody, I liked Rocket Man so much more than Bohemian Rhapsody. People were just gushing over Bohemian Rhapsody. I know. And what's his name won the Oscar?
Raheem Malek.
It's not Raheem.
No, it's Rami Malek.
Rami Malek. Yeah, he won the Oscar. I couldn't believe it. I think that's such a better biopic, and just how you should do biopics. The combination. I love the combination of realism.
With the fantasy
magic,
elements too.
Fantasy and realism. I love those.
And how like each story transition was part of a musical score. So he would like start playing and then that would transition into another part of his life.
Yeah.
Like seamlessly too, Even like when he OD'd and it was like he's under the pool and they're singing Rocket Man, he gets pulled out, gets put on the turn.
Yeah, all those are so
it's really
they
well
were really
done.
good and it was so well shot. It was beautiful to watch. And it was a good story too,
Dexter Fletcher was the director of that too, who actually ironically enough produced Bohemian Rhapsody.
And he's an actor. He's been in a ton of movies. But all right, I'm gonna go down. I'll go down to one that I know you don't have because I don't think you ever saw it. But But the Farewell.
Yes, no, I did not get to see this.
It was
I tried to buy this film on Amazon, and it wasn't letting me buy it on Amazon Prime at the time.
It is so fucking good. It's the story. I think the plot is the story of just one lie, because it's. I don't know what you've seen, but it's Aquafina. It's about their grandma who lives in China, and it's just an awesome take because you don't really know how other families live in another part of the world. But yeah, their grandma gets cancer, and in China it's better they don't tell you if you're dying because it's just better to not know, I guess. And it's true, and it's kind of a philosophical movie. It's also a drama because you show what the family's going through.
Right.
But it makes you ask the question. You're like, well, would I want to know? I mean, what does it do for you if you know? It just worries you, and you end up dying 3 weeks later. And I'll kind of spoil you too, but it is a true story. And I read the real article or whatever. But the grandma who they gave 4 months to live is still alive. Like
Wow.
8 years later.
You're kidding
And she
me.
still doesn't know. Yeah.
She still doesn't know.
Yeah, so it's like
So maybe maybe it's working.
because
maybe
they
the Chinese
have
got something,
they have a
that
really
we don't
good
have.
they have a saying in China, like it's not the disease that kills you, it's the information that kills you. It's knowing that you have the disease that kills you.
Yes,
That's what
yeah.
they say. So as soon as you start thinking, oh, you're fucked, you're gonna die.
body's gonna
But if
think
you
that
think
as
you're
well.
just but yeah, it's crazy. It's a really good movie. You have to watch it. It's emotional.
Yeah.
for sure. But it makes you ask that kind of tough question, like, yeah, I don't think I would want to know.
Mm-hmm.
To where before I saw that, I was in the mindset of, oh, I want to fucking know.
Yeah.
I want to know as far in advance. But that was my number 10. But
Okay.
all right, should we do another top 10 or should we do
Honorable mention, maybe.
let's do an honorable mention.
Let's do an honorable mention. So this one I know was.
Let's do one that we both have. Yeah.
Yeah. This one was definitely both on our list and almost could have hit our top
Barely
10.
missed it for me.
Barely,
I already know what you're gonna say.
And this is Brad Pitt's Ad Astra.
Barely missed it.
Some people I read, like, and this is audience. This obviously isn't critics because critics liked it. Some audience people hated.
Well, some critics
this
didn't like
film.
it either. Yeah.
But I mean,
yeah, the
because they were
majority
like-
of your average Joe
Yeah.
did not like this fucking movie because it's the way they advertised it.
It is the way they advertise it, but a lot of people, like audience, was like, "There's no story at all.
There's no aliens.
There's no alien." And I'm like,
Where the
"It's
fuck
not
are the
about-
aliens?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
where
a
the
slow burn
explosions?
film.
Yeah.
Like it's.
I'll admit it's not the perfect film.
No, it's not.
It's definitely not in the legs at some points. I thought the scenes where he has to go and he ends up murdering the entire crew of the space shuttle. I thought that was a little wild, and then maybe that there
Yeah.
wasn't. But the whole story of them going up there and kind of not finding anything, and Tommy Lee Jones'
Tommy Lee
character.
Jones is great,
I just
too.
rewatched it a couple days ago, and I still fucking loved it.
Yeah.
That was a movie where I thought maybe I'll rewatch it. I'm not gonna like it as much because I'm gonna start seeing the faults in it, and I did see the same faults I saw. But the story's good, man.
It is good.
And the
It's
acting,
really good.
the acting of Brad Pitt, the whole thing of him, his BP level not going over 80 or whatever,
Yeah.
it's fucking good. And that scene where they're on the moon shooting at each other, it's a tense fucking
It
scene.
is. It's super tense.
And you gotta give
And I like
credit.
how they didn't have any sound or anything.
And it's
like
so
that,
realistic too.
It's very realistic.
It's so, I mean, you got to think if we're gonna do something on the moon, that's how it's gonna be.
Oh,
it's gonna be
absolutely.
rovers and not gonna be hover cars or it's gonna be fucking. But yeah, man, I loved it. It was very close to making my top 10 Ad Astra, but that was close.
But definitely a recommend to go see it if you haven't.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially if you like slow burn and good philosophical movies too. Because I mean, it did touch on, is there a God? Is there life out there? And
Yeah.
how we handle that as human beings.
And it touched on, the humanity of us putting all of our faith that someone's going to save us. And really, we're the only ones that's going to save us. I love that message at the end of the movie. I love that. And I love Tommy Jones just floating into fucking space.
At the
'Cause
end.
that's what he wanted to do. That's what he always wanted to do, man. Just want to be his fucking spaceman. But what a shitty dad.
yeah, not a good dad.
A movie about a
Not a good father
Really, the
at all.
movie is just about a horrible dad. It's the equivalent of, hey, I'm going out for cigarettes.
It never
Then this
coming
guy, hey,
back.
I'm going out to Jupiter. Never coming back. But a great story.
is.
Either way.
Absolutely great. Stuff.
And I think we were just really desperate for really good sci-fi films these days. So I think when one comes around that's even halfway decent,
get super
we're
excited.
like, fuck, thank God.
It's like Annihilation,
Yeah.
the one good one of 2017 or 18.
yeah, exactly.
So it's
I still fucking love Annihilation.
I know,
All
you
right,
do.
let's do a bad movie. Let's do bottom 5.
Bottom 5. Okay, so the next one I have on my list is the shot-for-shot remake of The Lion King.
Yep.
This one was hot, steaming garbage.
And I will throw this out there. This tied for me with the remake of Dumbo, which you could have done a lot of fucking Disney remakes this year.
You could have.
You could have.
How about Atlantis or Treasure Planet?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I
Either
could have
one of
put
those.
a couple more on my bottom 5. I heard.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Oh, other remakes.
I could have put Aladdin on there. I watched the first half of Aladdin.
Yeah.
Didn't love it. And I could have put Lady and the Tramp on there as well. I did not enjoy very much.
Really? You didn't
no.
like Lady and the Tramp?
Some scenes were very odd to me.
Yeah, the CGI was odd. Only with the lady dog.
Yeah,
was
it
it,
was
though.
weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, it
All
was
the other CGI
basically
looked
almost
fine.
a shot for shot remake
It
of Lady and the Tramp.
absolutely was. Yeah.
So it was
Minus
just
the rather
they
maybe racist.
They just cut out
kittens. The Siamese
kid. Well, well, they themselves were racist, but the men who wrote them
were
were racist.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there were so many remakes and reboots that I thought I could have put on my bottom 5 list that just didn't need to be remade. But yeah, to me, Lion King and Dumbo. Did you ever see Dumbo?
I did see Dumbo as well.
I fucking hated Dumbo. I hated Dumbo. Oh my god.
I wasn't a huge fan of it, but it did not hit my top 5 list.
I hate it. I think even Lion King might have been better than Dumbo for me, but Lion King was bad. Shot for shot remake, and the 15 minutes they added in
didn't need to be added in at all.
Again, it was just one of those. It's Disney
cashing in.
It's Disney cashing in, and Disney being the justice warrior. Even though they own fucking sweatshops in China that are making all their fucking, even though they're slave owners, it's them being like, oh, we're a good company.
Oh, dude,
we have
woke.
the woman hyena now is in charge.
She's in charge. We're doing better here.
We're doing things. She's bad now.
Meanwhile, the sweatshop back and trying to get to work.
Yeah, as they're beating 9-year-old girls to make faster fucking
20
Frozen dolls.
Day.
Yeah,
they sleep in the shops.
Yeah, exactly. So
they
it's
have
like,
to have nets around the building so when the people do jump off, they don't kill themselves.
Let's jump in. Talk about some. I'll talk about some movie news real fast.
I know.
Let's talk about the Golden Globes.
The whole time I wanted to talk about this because this is literally
we'll intertwine it.
This is literally what This is the whole public of America thinks this about the Hollywood elite.
Yes.
Just shut up.
Yeah.
Just accept your stupid little award.
We got to talk about the Golden Globes.
Oh
we got to talk about Ricky Gervais.
We do.
Who I thought killed it.
He is hilarious.
I thought he did a great job. But everything he said about Hollywood was correct.
It is true.
Some of his other jokes didn't land for me, but that monologue was great. The joke about the Irishman being long, like, okay, Ricky.
Yeah.
Who hasn't made that fucking joke? But everything else, man, was spot on.
It was really funny too.
In the tension in the fucking Tom Hanks' face.
Oh, I know. I'm like, dude, Tom, come on. You know it's true.
Well, but he can. I mean, he can't be the bad guy in any way.
He can't.
But
He's
like
Tom
Brad
Hanks.
Pitt, Leonardo, they were all cracking up.
See, Leo, that's what I appreciated about Leo.
And
he
Leo
was joking, like when he was making the joke about, oh, your girlfriend was then too old. You know, like he thought it was funny. But some of those celebrities were just like,
well, they were so scared. They're so scared to offend anyone at this point.
I know, and it's just like, I like how, but you know who my favorite was at the Golden Globes? My favorite actor of all time. He just seems like an awesome human being. He was in the very front row, just laughing away, clapping the whole time. That's Adam Driver.
Oh, yeah.
He just looked like he was having a good time during that monologue. He's like, yep.
Yeah.
He's like, we are kind of, he's just smiling and
Adam
laughing.
Driver's great.
He's great.
But there was
really
there was a lot of people that were laughing and having. Because there's a ton of people that don't take themselves too fucking seriously.
But there were a few.
Yeah, but I'm sure it was probably
cold,
there's some actors, but there's probably a lot of executives that were there. I know Tim Cook from Apple was not fucking happy.
Well, no, they showed him, and then Ricky Gervais makes the joke about, about the news.
Yeah, he's a slave.
Show.
He's a slave owner too. Yeah.
It's like, oh man,
what did Tim Cook think?
And
I love that because Tim Cook went there thinking they were just gonna fucking
praise Apple
for all, and they didn't say anything about Apple. That's Ricky Gervais said the one thing about Apple, and no one said anything.
Oh, that was so good.
But yeah, man, it's just a bunch of fucking millionaires and billionaires sitting just jerking each other off.
And what was so funny is Ricky Gervais was literally like, just don't come up here and make a political statement. He goes, just accept your award, thank your God, and fuck off. And then everyone who received an award made a giant political statement.
Oh yeah,
well,
you have to. Really,
it's the only time. You don't have to.
No, but to them they have to. It's the only time that they get time where they're not reading someone else's lines.
I know.
So it's the only time that they ever. And I understand. I don't care most of the time. But I mean, I get it. It's your time. You want an award, do whatever the fuck you want with that time. What's his name? Joaquin Phoenix. He came out and talked about the Australian fires, which I thought. I mean, it needs to be talked about. So no one else is fucking talking about it in Hollywood, at least. No one's bringing that up. So since the beginning of fucking Oscars, everyone has made a political statement. Everyone. So to act like it's fucking new, like now.
It does get old when they lecture you over and over and over again. After every single award, you got some Hollywood liberal elite coming up here and being like, oh, you need to do this better, or we need to do this better. It's like,
well, yeah, where the
hell is your $25 million going? Why don't you donate?
Yeah.
Some do. In all fairness, some do. But
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like,
What's his name just donated $1 million to Australian fires?
Chris Evans? No, it wasn't Evans.
Chris Hemsworth.
Chris Hemsworth. Too many Chris's.
There is Chris
Way
Pine,
too many
Chris
Chris's.
Em-
Yeah.
But yeah, him and his family just donated $1 million, which is
Yeah, and
fucking
again, like
great.
he didn't go and make a big political speech about it. He literally just went and donated $1 million.
Well, he didn't win a Golden Globe either.
Well, obviously.
I guarantee he had he won a Golden Globe, he'd be talking about the Australian fires.
Probably.
Being that he's
Good
living
point.
in the Australian
Australia
fires.
right now at the moment. Yeah. Point well taken.
But yeah, I just thought Ricky Gervais did a really good job though.
Yeah.
He kept saying it was his last time, but I think he's done that every time.
He has. And this is his fifth
I think
time
since
hosting
I
the
think
Golden
since the
Globes.
first one, he's talking about how he's never going to do it again. So
Well, it's funny too because like the Oscars are so scared to offend people, and with the whole Kevin Hart debacle,
they won't even have a host.
No, they don't have a host for the
They're
second
not
straight
risking
year.
it. We're not risking the fucking. Who knows what that guy's going to say?
It's just like, oh, geez, give me a break.
Yeah.
Give me a break. We live in this hypersensitive culture. I mean, I really think the tides are turning, though. Like even Rogan and stuff is talking about how much the tides are turning with this hypersensitive state that we're in. Especially when you get a guy like Ricky Gervais up there who's roasting the Hollywood elite, and that guy gives a zero.
Well, yeah,
zero
he's never
fucks.
had it. He's done it.
He does not
He's done
care,
it
and
for
that's-
years.
right.
When was his first?
He's like the Chappelle.
Well, his first
or-
Golden Globe was what? Probably like 10 years ago or something. It was a
Yeah.
while ago.
Yeah.
So he's been talking about this for a long time. So I don't. Yeah. Anyways, let's get back to our top 10. Where were we at?
All right, so I'll go now. Number 8, which I know this is on your list as well. This is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the
Yeah.
Quentin Tarantino.
That's much higher on my list.
Yeah, this is much higher. What is this on your list?
It is number 2. on
Number
mine.
2,
Yes.
wow.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is my number 2, and I can't wait when the 4-hour cut comes out. I'll be first in line
Okay.
to buy that. Yeah, because I love this movie, man. And talk about those. I mean, it's Quentin Tarantino.
Right.
So, but talking about those small, tiny details, I just went and watched it again, and it's just like it's everything, man. The advertisements, the radio, everything. It's all 1960s. It just puts you in the film.
Yeah.
I walked out of that film feeling like I just walked out of the fucking Hollywood in the late 1960s. It's done so fucking well, and I know some people didn't love it because of the length, and some people didn't like the ending. And I love the ending.
The ending was the best part of the film.
Quentin-
I was
yeah.
laughing. It was
I was
so
laughing.
fucking gory, but I was laughing so intensely.
I know, but
during that
people were
scene.
upset that he showed such a realistic version of the 1960s Hollywood, and then it just completely went off the rails. But that's
But
Quentin
it's his
Tarantino. He's been
interpretation.
doing that for years.
And
He's
not
been
only
doing
that, but we all know the ending, the tragic ending of Sharon Tate and everyone
Yeah.
else involved in that murder. So why not just turn it on its head and fucking make fun of those pieces
exactly.
of shit?
And to me, that film was just it started out at the bottom, and then it got higher and higher and higher to where both characters you feel good about them. And
Yeah.
to me, to go 180 to that and have brutal fucking murders of this neighbor that we learned to know during the movie, it would be a complete 180 twist. You'd be feeling from going happy to the last half an hour to just feeling like shit going. So I'm glad he turned it that way. I'm glad it just kept going and going and because he did the same thing with Inglourious Bastards. You know, they
Yes.
shot Hitler. I almost said
Hitler. I think that's a better name for him, Shitler.
Old Adolf Hitler. In reality, he didn't get shot in the face 900 times by a machine gun.
No, he
It
didn't.
happen.
No, it didn't happen.
But in Quentin Tarantino's universe,
it sure as hell did.
and you want to live in Quentin Tarantino's universe.
'Cause
In
it's
Quentin Tarantino's,
fun.
the good guys win.
Yeah,
In the real world,
they don't. Not all the time.
not all the time. Rarely. But yeah, man, I love this film. I want to get the soundtrack was so good. I want to buy the soundtrack on vinyl. But yeah, I loved it. It was my number 2.
Okay.
It was close up there, my number 1. And we only get a Quentin Tarantino film every fucking 4 years.
But you know what? It's always worth it.
Oh
And I'd rather almost wait those 3 to 4 years every time.
And he's got 1 left, apparently.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see. All right, so moving on to number 7 for me.
Well, let me give another.
Okay, go
let me
ahead.
give.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna give the one that was my number 9 technically, but it's also on your list, Jojo Rabbit.
Jojo Rabbit, yes. Jojo Rabbit was 6 on my list.
Yeah.
Yes.
I loved Jojo Rabbit. Probably the
Rabbit's
best
great.
comedy of the year.
Yeah, I would say probably, yeah.
It had so much heart, and it was so funny. And it was
Well, and the fact,
it's
too, that
set
they
in such
cast kids like
yeah.
Roman Griffin, who had never acted before in his life, and these kids are hilarious.
Well, and the girl who's been in a few things now, she was in The King. Yep. She played, I think, his sister. But she was amazing. And Scarlett Johansson, man, who had a hell of a year.
She really has.
She had
with that in another movie that will be on
she was the highest paid actress, wasn't she, of 2019, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah, she is.
But, it was such... to set a comedy in such a bleak time, it's taking a lot. And especially in a time right now when we have a lot of Nazis that are making a comeback for some fucking reason. But yeah, man, and especially like you said, when it's an era that's so sensitive. But
to be able to dance around that and make it a good, lighthearted
shows
film
how
somehow.
good of a director and how good of a visionary you got to be, and that's Taki Waititi.
Yeah,
he's one of the best, man. He's I don't want to say he's up and coming because he's been around for a long time, but he's one of my top 10 directors these days.
Unquestionably. Yeah.
And people want to fucking work with him. Did you just see the big news?
What? Oh, yes, Christian Bale.
In talks for the next
Love and
Thor.
Thunder. Yes.
Christian Bale would be the last person I would ever thought that would come back to a superhero movie.
Yeah, he hasn't done it since 2012.
But that shows you the
pull
pull that Taki Waititi has for him to want to come back for that. And whatever he does, he's going to be the villain. Whatever he does, he's going to be amazing in it. But that's just rumored right now.
Yeah.
But, all right, give me another one.
Okay, so I know this is both on our top 10 lists here. This is a film that just came out actually a few weeks ago, an A24 film. You've talked some smack about the man when he does his bad films, but this one was not a bad film.
And I also talk good about him at his good films as well.
Do.
So I'm not. I don't think it's smack talk as much as it's just realistic.
Okay,
me being a realist.
But Uncut Gems, the Safdie brothers, Adam Sandler. Incredible film. This is the most anxiety, the most fucking stress I've ever had in a theater in my life. I love that, like, I know about sports betting, because if I go to Vegas, I'll do that, or sometimes go down to the Oregon coast. So I know, like, all these parlays and different things. This movie was just fun, but it was so stressful to see the type of fucking bets he was putting on.
Yeah.
I mean, the tip. He put that in the six.
The 3 parlay. Oh, the 6 parlay on the tip was nuts.
On the tip was nuts.
The 6 parlay on the tip.
All your money's gone if you lose the tip.
You never bet the tip.
Never.
No one ever bets the tip. Never.
And sure enough, he does.
Yeah.
He was insane in this movie.
Yeah.
And I absolutely loved it.
Uncut Gems was number 6 on mine.
Okay, so that was real close. 6
it's
and
close,
7.
man.
Yeah.
I fucking loved it. Adam Sandler, the acting in the film was amazing. Idina Menzel, Kevin Garnett. We talked enough about Kevin Garnett. But man, the score and the direction, the Safdie brothers, man, talk about up and coming. These guys are just, they're going to be able to make any film after this because they wrote that film 10 years ago. They always had Adam Sandler. They wrote it for him, basically.
Yeah, and initially he turned it down and then came back to it later on.
But like you said, man, that movie starts out at 100 and it stays at 100
the entire duration of the film.
It shows it's such a good portrait of an addict.
Yes.
That you're like, why is this even worth it? Because 99% of the time you're just worried. You're having a heart attack. That 1% of the time you're winning, but as soon as you win, it's all on the line again.
Well, it's all on the line because you have such a habitual, terrible,
such a disease
habit. It's a bad habit.
Oh, absolutely.
It's super.
Yeah, it's more than a habit.
Yeah,
it's
a disease.
a fucking.
Right.
It's because we see how it's. And again, I've talked about it before, but by the time we see, what's his name in it? Adam Sandler's name.
Oh, I forget.
Howie Bing.
Howie
Bing.
That's right.
Yeah, Howard Bing. But we see at this point of Howard's life, his life has already completely been ruined by gambling. So we're getting just the tail end. And yeah, I loved it, man. I've been listening to the soundtrack, but the score and the cinematography was amazing.
Well, and it almost like the cinematography of Uncut Gems made it feel a lot of times like an action film.
You're right, it did,
seriously, the way that it was like shot and kind of the fast movements,
the fast editing too, especially when they're around
or camera movement
when they're rocking around like New York and stuff, and when the dialogue is being mixed in, and all those other characters are coming in with like the 2 brothers and everything. It's shot so fast that it does feel like it's because your adrenaline's pumping.
Oh hell yeah,
your adrenaline's pumping because you're scared of what's gonna fucking happen to this guy. A great film.
Great, I loved it.
Let's give a bottom.
Okay, let's do a bottom. So I know this is on both of our lists as well for top 5 worst movies of the year. There was so much anticipation going into this. This is one of my favorite Stephen King novels of all time.
This was mine that I said I was just anticipated for.
Say what?
I was just anticipated for this film as I was Hellboy. This is the one.
We were so excited about it. For once, the trailer for this looked really good. It looked very promising. And then you go and watch the film and you're like, what the fuck? There was so much great information in the book that you did not use. All the important information you threw out, all the needless information you put into this film, and that is Pet Sematary.
It made you appreciate the direct-to-TV version of Pet Sematary,
which
made it look like a masterpiece.
Puts that on a very, very low pedestal.
Oh, absolutely!
I mean, it is not good at all. Like,
100%. Me and you were just talking.
I couldn't believe it.
Up this movie, like this is the fucking one. We got John Lithgow.
Yep.
We got that other guy that's in fucking everything.
Yeah,
it's gonna be amazing. It's how could they go wrong? And it's such. Like you said, it's one of the best Stephen King books, and to me, it was always a book that translated well. I thought to screen, like reading it, I was like,
out of all the movies or out of all the
that
books,
are hard to shoot.
Yeah, this one would have been perfect. Like you could actually make,
and especially
this really
nowadays when the technology is so advanced, you can go and you could have done. I mean, they did do the fucking wherever they went to the other world or whatever, where the actual Pet Cemetery. They did that cool, but that was as cool as this movie fucking got.
That was it.
And the cat, I gotta give him the cat was fucking
good.
amazing.
Yeah,
great acting by the cat. But yeah, that movie was just boring.
It was awesome or awful.
It sucked. Yeah, and it was just I don't know. They dumbed down the source material where the characters were making such stupid choices.
Yeah. When they had so much material to work with that they completely shit the bed on this.
Yeah.
Even critics said the same thing. Everyone did not like it.
And it wasn't scary.
It wasn't scary
It was
at
the
all.
bad thing. It wasn't scary at all.
And the big twist is that they ended up doing the little girl instead of the little boy. But then they just didn't use it correctly at all. Like then she just turned into like a zombie that was killing right away. And it's like, that's not how the book works.
Yeah, I forgot that was the whole thing. That movie was so forgettable. I think after I walked out of the theater, I just totally forgot that I ever
just
saw.
like this, and then
that's
walked
a clean
out.
slate. Yeah. I will never watch that movie.
Never see that again. Never.
But yeah, and this was the year for Stephen King movies. We had It.
Yep.
And we had which It too was good. It didn't make either our top 10 list, but it was
all
decent.
right,
It was a decent. I
definitely
like the
wasn't
first
bad.
one a lot more. But
Absolutely. But what I did appreciate is they did stick very close to the book.
Exactly, yeah.
In regards to It too.
Yep.
And I think that's where people who didn't read the book had a problem with it because they're like, why is this so random? But if you follow the book, minus the
well, they put as much as they could.
Yeah.
And that is what you
because there
appreciate,
is so much in that
I didn't
book.
like how much CGI they ended up using for it, which is for my CGI in horror films, that's the worst thing for me. I think because again, CGI, we talk about it takes you out of it.
Yeah.
And for a horror film, you got to be in it to be scared. But Doctor Sleep also came out this year, which was also
Dr. Sleep
was
as well.
also decent.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed Dr. Sleep.
Compared to Pet Sematary, these are fucking masterpieces.
Yes. And I thought Dr. Sleep was good. I actually liked that quite a bit. It didn't make my honorable mention.
No, either did I. No.
But for a few high
for a Stephen King movie,
yeah,
it's top 10.
For a few high known or very well known reviewers though, some of them Dr. Sleep was on their top 10. And I was like, wow.
I saw
really?
I saw bigger lists that did list them like 19 and stuff. It's because Ewan McGregor and Rose the Hat.
Yes.
Rose the Hat, man. I've never thought a hat on a woman could be so sexy.
It definitely is sexy when you put it on that one.
All right, I'm gonna give you another one of my top 10.
All right.
One that I know you didn't see, and this one.
And Mike Flanagan directed that as well.
Yeah.
And by the way,
Which
side
you
note,
love.
I finally finished Haunting on Hill House. Awesome.
Fucking phenomenal.
Awesome.
Yeah, I
Mike
told you, yeah.
Flanagan kicks ass. Can he keep making?
Can he keep it going?
Can he keep it?
Can he just keep remaking horror
That's
books?
what I'm asking. Yeah, because it's like Gerald's Game was incredible too.
Yeah.
He actually is.
I said
really
it.
good.
I said it when we did Doctor Sleep, but I think there was finally a director born to remake Stephen King adaptations.
And that's
There's
definitely Mike Flanagan.
never been one. Stanley Kubrick. I mean, he made The Shining, which is the best Stephen King adaptation, but it's far from the book.
Yeah.
But somehow Mike Flanagan, he sticks with the source material and still makes it good somehow. Still translates to film. Yeah, he's great. All right. So this made my number 4 on my list. And I know... Actually, I'll do my number 7, which I completely forgot. Us by Jordan Peele. Another horror film.
Okay, yes.
It's easy to forget because it came out February early.
Yeah.
But Us. I fucking loved Us. I thought it was not a great sequel, but a great second endeavor from Jordan Peele.
Yeah, his
where everyone
film.
thought, can he duplicate the success of Get Out?
Right.
And I thought he fucking killed it.
There
That
were
movie
a
had
few
such...
directors this year who had sophomore films, like their second film.
And there's a few
they
directors
all
that
knocked it out of the park.
never
in my
directed
opinion.
before, made debut, and that did absolutely great films. I'll talk about one later, but yeah, I thought Us was the aesthetic of Us was just fucking amazing.
It was.
And the mystery of it all, with them not knowing where these fucking people come from and the vagueness of it, I thought was such.
Well,
that's how
Jordan
I want
Peele,
my
too,
story.
In such serious circumstances, he can also find those slivers of comedy throughout his film as well.
He is a master of horror for sure. He does it so well that I just don't think it can be duplicated. At least not in that style.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought Us was amazing, and all the kids and all the actors in it were awesome too. And it was fucking frightening.
It was.
It was horrifying.
At times, yes,
it was
it was.
very. I mean, I would say it's almost more of a thriller than a horror. But yeah, they'll probably call it a comedy this year. But
probably again.
I loved it, man. I love when they go into the other ground, and I loved when they went into the fun house. I went in to Universal Studios Hollywood for Horror Nights this year, and I got to walk around that. And it gave you the same feeling of watching the movie, though. When you're watching the movie, you feel like you're there with them, and that's what. So I love it. That was number 7 on my list.
Okay.
Which is good. I have 2 horror films on my list.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah.
It's pretty rare. Give me another one. Give me something you liked.
Alrighty. So we talked about Jojo Rabbit. So let's just talk about this one. Let's just keep on the horror trend. I'm going to skip my number 5 and go to number 4. And this is also a sophomore film by Ari Aster. Midsommar.
Yeah.
Fucking incredible movie. And I'm not gonna spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen, but there are moments in this film that are so surprising that like it takes you 5 to 10 seconds just to process what you just saw.
Yeah. And Midsommar only made my honorable mentions, but it was one of those where I was very close to making my top 10 because I loved Midsommar. It was, I don't know, it was so different in ways of horror films, with one, it being completely shot during the day.
Yes.
And you never think that a horror film shot during the day, you don't think it can be scary. What a fucking mistake in your thinking there, bud. Because I mean, the whole tagline was you're going to be scared of the daylight. And yeah, he's fucking right.
Yeah. I mean,
24 hours of sun might be worse than 24 hours of darkness.
Yeah. And the cinematography was so great in this film too. Like it did a lot of very unique things where like you would watch it and you'd almost feel like you were hallucinating because the flowers would be slowly rotating. Beautiful cinematography as well. Like the just beautiful the land itself that they shot on.
Well,
with the flowers.
Yeah, it disorientates you because it's not even that, but like them waking up and you're like, what time is it? And like as you're watching it, you're like, yeah, is it 3 a.m.? Is it 4 p.m.? Is it 7? Is it the morning?
Idea.
You have no fucking clue. And like you said, I don't know. It's such a weird experience going into it, but I walked out of that movie with maybe the deepest feeling of any movie I walked out of. I just felt like, I don't know if it was dread or maybe melancholy. But it made me, I don't think it was sadness, but it made me feel very odd walking out of that movie. Like, I think it was just I didn't know how to feel after it. And normally I know how, because normally you know what a movie wants you to feel. They want you to feel sadness or happiness. In this movie, you did not sure if you felt good about it. Because you didn't know who you were rooting for, really.
No. No, you didn't. Because especially at the end, too. Because you're like, oh, that's good, but no, that's bad.
Yes.
But that's... Hold on, I'm confused. How
and then
am
you're
I
like,
supposed to feel?
oh, but her boyfriend was a bad guy. Oh, but he was also put in just a really shitty situation. But he is just really shitty also.
Yes. But does he also deserve this?
Yeah. Exactly. Or does anyone? Or does anyone deserve this? But
any of those people who went.
It is such a, and I rewatched that not too long ago, and I don't know, I just want to, maybe it's like stomach turning, just watching the entire thing, you're just like, oh my God. And it's hard to fucking watch.
But
From the
I
very
love-
first fucking 10 minutes.
Yes, and I think that's a lot of the reason why this was so high on my top 10, because if I can walk away, even if I'm as confused as all get out as to why I feel that way,
Yeah.
if a movie can make me have a feeling like
Yeah,
that,
any feeling.
and that lasting feeling where it's like, I still think about Midsummer, and that
Yeah,
movie
so
came
do
out
I,
in
yeah.
July. That movie came out in July. I have not seen it since, and I still think about that movie. If a film can give me that sort of feeling, then for me, that's really a big criteria for me as to why these movies make my top 10, because I want to walk away with some sort of feeling, even if I'm as confused as all get out.
Yeah, absolutely. Just, hat off to Ari Aster. He makes, again, I think he's a master of horror, but a different way than Jordan Peele.
Yes.
Where his is just straight fucking dread.
Yes.
That's all it is, man. It's just, but it's good, man.
But with Peele, he can add
And it
a
makes
lot of
you love the-
elements too. That like he can bring you not out of it, but he can bring you into like, oh, that was funny, and then oh my God,
Yeah,
and then
exactly,
we can go right back into like horror.
And in Midsummer had some funny
murder.
scenes, for sure.
It
did. It had some funny scenes.
Yeah, but it's different.
It is.
In the context of things, like it's different type of
Again,
humor.
I think it goes back to the way it was shot. It's shot in such a particular way that even at some scenes, it's like it's made to like make you almost feel this disconnect with like how he shot some scenes where you're only getting the conversation through mirrors and stuff like that. It's very interesting, and I love when people are willing to experiment in that kind of different way.
Yeah.
Not do just the straight up. But that, like you said, that scene when they're going into the forest and it twists upside down, without showing a sign that you're there, you immediately know, oh, this is some kind of backwards place.
Right. This is some alternative weird.
Yeah.
Like, you are entering. It almost felt like a portal to me.
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas like you're entering this
Like
new
purgatory
dimension.
or something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Where you're like you're stuck in between.
And that was what was so brilliant about Midsummer. Is he did that so many times throughout the movie, even with like the love potion, where where the camera pans through.
That love potion scene makes me sick. Too.
Oh, sick to your stomach. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he goes and runs in the shed after that, and he sees the fucking guy
Right.
still breathing. Oh
with
my God.
being flayed open, right? So like this is what I'm talking about, where it's just like so much showing.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's
exactly.
The details.
Yeah.
It's just like it's so good.
Smallest amount of dialogue as
Ari
possible.
Aster is incredible. He is one of my favorite, if not my favorite, horror director right now.
Oh yeah,
Like I love him.
he can't miss. I can't
Can't
wait.
miss right now, no sir.
But he said he's talked about how he's not just a horror director. And
no,
that
he
his-
said he's doing other things.
His
too.
next film will probably be a comedy, which I can only fucking imagine what kind of surrealist comedy he's gonna make. I mean, it's gonna be fucking weird. But all right. Well, should we give an honorable mention?
Yeah, let's do an honorable mention.
You can. Well, I'll do one that I know we both have.
Okay.
We'll do. It even barely made my honorable mention list, but I'll do Avengers.
Okay, Avengers Endgame. Yes.
Avengers Endgame.
You know, it's
It
one
was
of
a
those
good
films.
film.
Yeah, it was a good film.
And I
thought
liked the way
did
they
everything
ended it.
right.
Yeah.
Yep. I thought the ending was great.
It was just one of 50 superhero films I've already seen, and it wasn't. It wasn't different enough for me to keep it into my memory forever. You know, it wasn't. It didn't have anything that was like, oh my God, they're doing something different here.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, it was an experience, and it was an awesome experience.
Yep.
It obviously made our honorable mentions. Good movie. But again, you are right. It's
Yeah.
kind of right after I saw it, right after we did the podcast, kind of.
And you'll never have the same experience going and seeing it in theater as you will seeing it at home.
Yeah, totally.
It's
The
almost
theater is the best.
Well, especially with that film, because I mean, you almost had to see that because it was like it was a moment, almost like a holiday. It was the ending of all of these superheroes. So
Over a 10-year span.
yeah, exactly. So the theater I went to was absolutely packed, and it was just at that time I'm like, oh fuck yeah, dude, this is the way you're doing it right now. But yeah, like you said, a week, 2 weeks later, I'd almost forgotten about it. But it made my honorable mentions.
Yeah, and it was a good film.
I thought they ended it I thought that's the way he should end it.
Yeah,
I
think so
liked a
as
lot
well.
the way they ended Captain America and Iron Man storyline.
Yeah.
With him just getting old and fucking dying, right? That's what
Yeah.
he did.
It's pretty much, yeah.
Oh, and what's her name died also? Scarlett Johansson. Another Scarlett
But
Johansson movie.
Black Widow's coming out in 2020.
Yeah.
So
Did she
she's still
die?
making money. Who knows?
I'm guessing she did.
Maybe Loki brings her back in the Disney Plus
knows?
show.
Who knows?
No one ever really dies in Disney.
No one ever. No.
If you watched Rise of Skywalker, you know that. Fuck. which did not make our list.
Did not make
at
my
all.
top 10 or my bottom
Did
5.
not. Well, yeah, so that's good. It was the run of the mill.
Didn't make my honorable mentions either. Definitely.
No,
wasn't
definitely
even
not.
close to me.
No, it's just completely out of this.
All right. Should we do? Well, that was one of our bottoms. What should we do now? Oh, that was our honorable mentions. Yeah. Should we do another bottom?
Yeah, let's do a bottoms. Okay, so I know you didn't see actually, go ahead. You can bring one up first.
No, I'm gonna bring my. No, well, I have 2 more. So go ahead, bring it up.
Okay.
This was fun to talk about because I've seen a lot of scenes.
Yeah. Okay, so
I
I saw this movie a couple nights ago because I was looking up bad movies of 2019.
Yeah.
And this, just the reviews, just reading some of the reviews, I'm like, okay, I gotta see this. This looks awful. and it was so awful, it was enjoyable.
Yeah.
And I'm not kidding. I made it through the whole movie. I didn't keep checking my time because I was just mesmerized by the shitty acting.
Yes.
It was so bad.
Like seeing a train wreck, you can't look away.
No, you can't look away. The film is called The Fanatic, starring John Travolta.
Oh, have you ever heard of him?
No, never.
Little known actor. Yeah, directed by Limp Bizkit frontman Fred Durst.
Fred Durst, that's right. It was directed by Fred Durst too.
So this had everything. This had everything going for it. I don't know how this one screwed up.
Oh my God, this was the worst acting I've ever seen. His character's name is Moose, and he's like just he's just like, what is this called? Swaying back and forth.
Yeah, because
it's
he's supposed to be having. It's vague. They never tell what was wrong with him, right? I'm guessing it looks like he's doing like kind of like a cartoonish autistic. Like if you saw
super art. It should almost be offensive.
Like almost exactly. His borderline offensive. Like almost if you had
yeah.
only ever seen TV about like you've never actually met an autistic person in real life. Like which I'm sure John Travolta probably hasn't.
No.
Like this is only if you've seen like TV autistic people that he's doing that.
And this, it's just so bad. Like he's yelling at times. And then he's like crying, and it's like he's just this. He's just like, he's just like trying to make an emotion of crying because the man's a Scientologist. He's not a real human being.
Yes,
he doesn't actually cry.
No.
So when you try to see him
takes
cry
away
in
those
this
tears,
film, it's gross. I mean, this is just a grossly acted film. I could not. And there were even his co-stars in this. Like the girl, I felt so bad for because she's probably a no-name, and she was a pretty good actress.
Yeah,
she did the best she could with John Travolta. But even her, I swear to God, during the movie was like, this guy is fucking terrible.
I don't know
Get him
how
off
he's
the
getting
set.
so much worse. I mean, he's never been great, but I don't know how he's getting like worse.
I have no idea. This movie, The Fanatic, and you know what the premise is, right? It's this guy who's like really obsessed with this movie star.
Oh yeah.
And then he kind of gets shafted by him. So then he like stalks him, and like the scenes make no sense because he sneaks into the guy's home.
I saw it. It's super simple too. How he sneaks in. I've seen that scene. Yeah, doesn't he just like hop like a 2-foot fence or something?
Yeah, just nothing. No security cameras anywhere. And then during the film, I don't care if I spoil it. It's so fucking awful. He murders a maid on accident.
Yeah.
He like hits her on the nose and she falls and hits her head. And
He mice amends her.
And he goes,
crushes her.
"Oh, I had a bloody nose once," and walks away. And that's the fucking end of it. That's the end of it. And then at the very end, the movie star gets convicted of a murder when there's forensic evidence everywhere suggesting that this fucking psychopath.
It should be shot in 1920, but it's shot in 2019.
This movie was so just awful.
Yeah, and so what you're saying is not John Travolta's comeback film.
No.
Not this one. This one. Next one for sure, though.
For sure, the next one. He's got it.
You can't have 2 0% film. I mean, you can't have 3 0% films.
You can't. No,
well, I think what the problem is John Travolta is he's looking for that movie to make his comeback. He's looking for that film that's just gonna be like completely like, oh, this guy's fucking back. Like, oh, he's made so many bad films where he should just be doing minor roles at this point.
Yes,
minor roles that aren't gonna break that are not gonna break the world. And people are like, John, just do films that are decent and have minor roles. He wants that role that is gonna bring him back to the mainstream, and he doesn't have it. The only reason he had it back then was because he was extremely handsome and good looking. At this point, he looks more mannequin than he does human.
He does. He really does.
He's got like 8 different hairstyles I've seen him with, but they're clearly just fucking wigs. Like at one point I saw him, he was bald. Now he's got this full fucking head of hair. It doesn't work.
What is going on? Yeah, no, you just don't grow it back that fast. It's not that simple, John.
It's very weird, and he looks so odd to me now. He's again Scientology. I mean,
taking its toll.
He probably had issues anyways. I'm guessing you had issues to go to Scientology in the first place, but
Dianetics and everything.
Odd character he is, man.
He is just the strangest of all strange. Man.
And it sucks because he's in one of my favorite movies of all time, Pulp Fiction. Mm-hmm. And he's so good at that.
He does great in that. Yeah.
But he's done some stinkers.
Oh man, and just to wrap all of this up, I do, believe it or not, I don't normally recommend terrible movies, but I recommend to sit through this because it's only an hour and a half long, and it's worth it.
Yeah.
In a weird, strange way, it is so worth to see how bad this movie is.
I probably would have saw it in theaters if I could have.
How far he's fallen.
Yeah.
That it's just like, you're just sitting there in awe. So yeah, that's number 2 worst top 5 movies of the year.
I'll give one of my bottom 5 also.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go with Rambo: Last Blood.
Wow, throwing some shade
the
on
last
Rambo.
Rambo film in quotes, super quotes, because he did
Until
not
he
die.
turns 80.
He did not die at
He didn't.
this.
Of course he didn't.
Yeah, I thought this
You
film.
can't kill Rambo.
I thought again. I had medium hopes for this film. You know, the last Rambo films have not been good. Well, I mean, anyone past 1 hasn't been good. The most recent one before was Rambo was the one where he's ripping throats out. Mm-hmm. That one was decent, but yeah,
that was just Rambo in 2008. Right?
That was the one we're talking about. It was decent. I don't even want to see it, and I've probably been 10 years in this, but this was not. This was not the finale that I wanted. It was not the fucking film that I wanted. Period. It wasn't even good for just a regular Rambo film.
Well, and the most frustrating,
they built it up so much where like this is the last one, baby. This one's gonna be fucking wild. The bad guys sucked. They were so forgettable
and stereotypical.
If it's gonna be if it's gonna be the last one, bring someone at least from the past, or at least make a new good bad guy that can rival Rambo. These guys couldn't fucking rival Rambo.
They didn't stand a chance.
It was a slaughter. Not even that, but yeah, and again, it was the writing was stupid. The whole movie was dumb. Them with all like them coming to his house, and them somehow getting all those guys into the tunnels. Whatnot, you would never just blow the tunnels up if he's in there.
Well, and the most frustrating thing is they went from like the kidnap and all that, and then they just hopped straight into the cartel coming to his house.
Yeah,
there was nothing in between.
And it was so, and him just going up, because again, the whole movie is him getting that girl back that he literally killed her. Remember, he goes up to the fucking. To the cartel's like main office. I mean, it's the headquarters.
Up there like
he doesn't have a gun or anything.
No security or anything.
He's running up there, and by the time he gets to the top, there's 80 people behind him, and they just beat the shit out of him. Like,
they do, and then they should have killed him, and of course they leave him there. And
remember they put the big scar on him, and
say don't come back.
2 scenes later, it's a fucking like cat scratch. And this guy had a Bowie knife that he carved his initials into. But yeah, I thought the whole movie was just fucking laughable.
Wow.
Yeah, did not enjoy it. I maybe will enjoy the last one, but what do you do? Is it going to be? Because what is Rambo? This is going to be Last Blood
Part 2? Yeah.
That doesn't mean Last Blood. Then.
It doesn't. No, it means second.
Last Blood means that's the last.
The last of the blood.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we should jump back to our top 10s now.
Let's keep it going.
Alrighty. So I'm going to go down to 5 now. And I know this is on your list as well. Martin Scorsese, Joe Pesci, Robert De Niro. Are you fucking kidding me?
Did you see that fucking table at the Golden Globes, man?
Yeah, I did.
Leonardo. Was it Leonardo? I think Leonardo, Brad Pitt, fucking Pesci, and Al Pacino, and Martin Scorsese. And then fucking Quentin Tarantino sitting behind.
I know. You're just like, wow.
Like, how can you be in there without your fucking head not exploding? I know. But of
with
course,
all those creative geniuses.
Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, this was The Irishman. This was your 5?
This was number 5.
This was my 5 as well.
Well,
yeah.
hey, look at that.
It was great. I fucking loved it, man.
It was,
and it was close. Top 5 for me. All these top 5 ones can be almost interchangeable for me.
Same.
These were all these films are so good, but what a payoff to me. 3.5 hours. That's what I fucking wanted. But,
And, you know, by no means was this my favorite Scorsese film of all time.
No.
But I thought everything was so good about it that it's like my top 3 favorite. You know what I'm saying? Like
it's right up there with the best
yeah,
of mine.
it
Yeah,
is.
absolutely.
Like I just absolutely loved everything about this film. I thought the performances were incredible. And wow, Joe Pesci, wow.
Yeah.
I'm serious. The performance he gives.
Yeah.
And it's not that blowhard. What do you know, it's just
It's a completely
like
different character. And it's like he never even took a day off.
crushed it. He crushed the role.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like everything about this just landed for me. I thought Al Pacino wasn't, you know, he was Al Pacino.
But
it was
was
not
perfect. He was
right,
perfect in it,
but
yeah.
it wasn't the she's got a great ass.
Yep.
You know, like it was very measured even like him. I just thought the performances all the way across the board were incredible.
Yeah.
And you can't go wrong with De Niro.
No.
You know, playing Frank. Like it was great.
Yeah, this is one that hit on all cylinders for me. It
Mm-hmm.
was great because I love it. It was a combination of history and then a combination of the mom that every guy loves. But I love seeing those worlds that you don't really get to see. I mean, you never really know. You just hear from books and hearsay. But
Yeah.
now we're seeing it, how it might have happened, how Al Pacino's character, you know, how he might have actually died, you know, Jimmy Hoffa. And I loved it. Yeah. And
I learned something watching that movie too, because I had always heard about Jimmy Hoffa and the Teamsters and all that, but I didn't know a whole lot about it.
Oh, yeah.
Until I saw the film, and then you kind of do some of your research, and you're like, wow, okay.
And it was the same gritty and fucking dark, but just the same great dialogue and great story as well, man. It's again, all those films, every gangster film is a tragedy to me. And Martin Scorsese takes that to fucking heart. Like he obviously glorifies it. I mean, he's not glorifying, he's just showing what it was. But there's always a tragic story. And this one was just as fucking tragic with Frank Sheeran and his whole life and his family that wouldn't even fucking talk to him. And obviously, he was a murderer. He killed a lot of people. But yeah, this was
And even the people who had smaller roles, Ray Romano, Stephen Graham.
Yeah.
Like I thought Stephen Graham was awesome in this as
playing
well.
Tony
Provenzano or whatever.
great.
Yeah, you know?
Yeah.
It's so good. Such a well acted cast, a great storyline. The de-aging looked incredible in this film.
That's something that not enough people are talking about.
And they knocked it out of the park.
That completely broke new ground. That de-aging is so much better than making a fucking CGI copy of someone. I mean, that de-aging looked great. And that's no green screen. That's them not wearing anything. That's just a computer program. Yeah, and that was fucking phenomenal. They looked great in it.
They did.
But all right, I'll give another one. This one was actually This was actually my 8th, and I know this one didn't make yours. Marriage Story.
Okay,
Directed
so
by Noah
yeah.
Baumbach.
This was top 2 on my honorable mentions. Marriage Story was so good.
I don't know how you can't put it in your top 10.
Adam Driver.
The
It
acting.
pains me. It pains me to, like, for what I had up here, I think Rocket Man and Nightingale were kind of those 9 and 10 that,
Yeah.
for me, like, Rocket Man was just so different, you know? But with Marriage Story, dude, I totally get it. I totally get why this would be on anyone's top 10.
Watching this, this is a movie where it's actors giving everything they got. Every
single scene.
Yep, and they're not leaving anything out. You talk about it. I mean, we talk about it all day, but they're like, I mean, how artsy is, but they're just emptying out their souls on the screen. You can tell. I really do think Adam Driver is, I mean, it's either going to be him, I think, or Joaquin up there for Best Actor.
Yeah, yeah.
Because that scene where he's breaking down and they're fighting each other, that
And they're
scene
screaming
is
at each other.
fucking heartbreaking. And it's such a good story. It's a sad story, but it's such a realistic look on what divorce does and how even though these people were at once actually in love, you know, not everyone that gets married is in love, but these people felt like they're actually in love.
And the way the film opens is one of the best openings to any movie I've ever seen in my life. You want to know why? I was filled with so much happiness and like, oh, wow, a marriage story, because I didn't know what it was about. I'm like, oh, they love each other. And then my soul gets ripped out of my chest when you come to find out that they're in a marriage counseling and they're going to get a divorce. And it's like, wow, what a perfect way to set the tone for the entire movie.
Yeah.
With that opening scene. I thought was absolutely incredible. I thought it was genius writing.
And it's something stupid, like you never once felt these people were going to get back together.
No.
You knew it was doomed from the very, like you said, from the very start. I mean, from that scene, from when they're
From
both,
that scene forward.
from when they're both in their and none of them wanted to like read the letter or whatever they read each other. You knew from the very start. And even though at the very start you think, man, this is the perfect couple. Like if this doesn't work out, then what the fuck chance do any of us have?
Yep.
But it just shows you, man.
Thought you had.
If you can fall in love, you can just as easily fall out of love. And it shows you that what love fucking does to two people too after they lose it, because they turn shitty to each other. But it just, divorce is a fucking messy process.
Especially when you have a little bit of money.
Oh yeah. Fuck, that makes it so much harder. I mean, money makes your life easier in every way until you got to split it up.
And then you end up paying for that as well.
Yeah. And he had to pay, pay money that wasn't even his. He got that money from the fucking grant.
Adam Driver is quickly becoming one of my favorite people in Hollywood.
Oh my god!
I love Adam Driver.
I just saw a meme that said, what did it say? It said something like Adam Driver just went into surgery for a bad back from carrying the Star Wars trilogy for 3 films.
It is true. Ben Solo was the best thing about the Star Wars trilogy.
Not even close. Ray was good, but he carried those fucking films. He did. He's great, man. He's good in everything. Yeah, I think he might win the Oscar this year.
Well, and just deservedly so, because I
and he's
heard
a Marine.
an interview from him. Yeah,
I've seen
Marine,
a ton of interviews.
His interview with in regards to Marriage Story said this was the most soul sucking, hardest role. He said every single day on set was the hardest day he'd ever worked as an actor.
I can only imagine. Oh, absolutely.
I believe it.
If you're acting like that, you're in the mindset that you're getting a divorce. You're there. Yeah.
It's so authentic too. I mean,
it is.
Him and ScarJo, every scene, I really felt like they were a married couple.
Yeah, and we didn't even talk about Scarlett Johansson, who she does just as fucking well.
She knocks it out of the fucking park, man. She's so good.
Yeah, exactly. You're watching it and you're thinking, "Oh my god, these people have actually been married for 10 years." I mean, I'm feeling like this is actually, and it goes again to the director Noah Blomkamp, who only does these fucking indie films that are comedy dramas, but they're always like, I don't get how he gets it out of them. Yeah. And what's he saying to them?
I don't know.
It's the story. It must be prevalent when you're reading the screenplay, like, oh, this is a powerful story. I get where these people come, but yeah.
Well, he had a very good way of showing the little things in divorce too that can mean so much, that can hurt more than anything else.
Yeah.
With like the kid being like, "Oh, well, I want to stay in LA and go to school with mom."
Yeah.
With the father
and the way,
trying to be a part of his life, and then like the two trick or treating.
Yes.
At night,
and
like
the
kid's too tired.
The kid being a mama's boy because he's just spending more time with the
his mom.
Yeah, it's just gonna happen. Obviously, it's gonna happen. Yeah. But it's so painful for a parent and everything. But
totally.
But yeah, those little things, and the little way how he treated Scarlett Johansson. He treated her as like the second build, that he was always the director and she was always the actress, and he always treated her like that.
Well, and
it was never going to work.
The little things on top of that where he was like, yeah, we'll move to LA one day, and then it wasn't one day anymore. And then Laura Dern puts him in his place. Or like, oh, so it's only an idea when you have it.
Or the thing where he read her screenplay that she was going out for, and he was like, oh yeah, I don't know. He's like, I don't really watch those things. And it's such like a backhanded insult of him telling her that's not very good or something. It's such a shitty thing to do because you're supposed to be supportive of everything.
Yeah, of course.
But at that time, I loved it, man. I would definitely recommend anyone, and it's on Netflix. You don't even have to go to a fucking theater to watch
or anything. Yeah.
But again, if you're going through a divorce, oh my god, I can only imagine what that film would fucking do to you.
Yes.
But maybe it will clear things up too, because it does have a great ending. It does have a great message at the end. But
and again, Cash, we got to talk about, since we're kind of wrapping up 2019. We have talked a lot of shit in the past about Netflix films, but again, this is kind of another one where I'm like, hey, look, Netflix is getting better with their movies.
Oh yeah.
Are all of them awesome? No, I'm not saying that. But the ones that they're starting to incorporate are really good. Like, this is Oscar worthy. Yeah. So Netflix is making a lot of good films. They had The Irishman as well, which is a great film. You get what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So they are doing a lot more now. It is a lot better.
Well, none of these, though, are Netflix-produced films. Well, Irishman is a Netflix-produced film.
Yes.
But none of those, like, they bought the rights for Marriage Story and stuff like that, but they didn't. But Irishman, they lucked out, but they paid for Irishman.
They paid. Few hundo mil.
They paid, yeah. I mean, a lot more than that in advertising and everything else, though. I mean, they paid for that film. But it was smart. That's the smart move.
It is.
Although you got to pay a lot.
Pay a lot for that. Yeah.
But you got to pay to play these days.
You do. You got to pay to play.
But yeah, so that was 8 or 7 was Marriage Story for me. Give me another one that you liked.
So I'll give you a few, because I only have 3 more on my top 10. I'll give you a few more honorable mentions real quick. Little Women, I saw on Christmas Day.
Yeah, I have not seen that yet. Another Florence Pugh movie.
Another Florence Pugh. The girl from Lady Bird, I can never say her name. Timothy Chalamet is in this. Laura Dern. It's got the
Well, it has
Emma Watson in it. It's got Florence Pugh. It's got a lot. It's got a lot of people. Let's put it that way.
Well, as every woman actress,
Right.
our actor that you would fucking want. And and I think you're forgetting one.
Well, yes, the
Meryl Streep.
the Oscar
That
winning
little known actress, up and coming.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is the same director as Lady Bird. And this is an adaptation, obviously the March Sisters. It's a famous one. Their father goes off during Civil War.
Well, Greta Gerwig, she directed
Yes.
it. Who's fucking
Incredible.
amazing. Who's married to Noah Baumbach, who directed Marriage Story.
Yes.
That's a power couple.
Power couple. Power couple. Are you kidding me or what?
That is a fucking.
Jesus.
What a creative house that must be.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Imagine their children.
Their
Fucking
children
make
better hope he just
screenplays.
doesn't want to be a fucking garbage man or something.
No, of course. His aspirations are
You
to be
better
a garbage man.
reinvent the garbage man
Yeah.
if you're gonna be.
But dude, Little Women was awesome. That was one that was really good. And
That's
then
what everyone said. I didn't get a chance to see it, but everyone said.
it's definitely worth watching.
Yeah.
It was a great adaptation. I'm even thinking about directing Little Women now.
Oh yeah, that'd be
for the
good one.
play.
You just have to know you have
Possibly.
enough female actors.
Oh, I definitely do.
Okay.
Female actors.
High
for
school
me,
for high school, yeah.
It's easier, a lot easier
It's
to
a
get
lot
high
easier.
school.
That might
than-
be a perfect play because there's literally like 2 guys in that.
Yeah, it's a cast of 7 women and then 4 men.
Yeah.
So,
That's a good play.
So yeah, a few other honorable mentions real quick. We'll just kind of go through.
Well, you give me one. I'll give you one. Now.
Okay, go ahead.
Queen and Slim was on my honorable mention as well. You
did not get to see
get
this
a Queen
yet.
and Slim.
No, and we had talked so much about how we wanted to see this film, and I never got around to seeing
Just
it.
a beautifully shot film.
Really?
Very well shot. Yeah, it's basically it's them on the run, but it's basically a road trip movie.
Is it like a modern day Bonnie and Clyde? Was it or no?
That's definitely how they were advertising it, but the story wise, no. I mean, as far as Bonnie and Clyde is, they're outlaws, and one's a man, one's a woman. That's as close as it gets. They're not robbing. They don't rob banks. They're running from one thing the entire time. They're not going on a crime spree.
Which is shown in the trailer, the murder of the police officer.
Exactly. Yep. So I'm not giving it away. Yeah, but they don't they do. He tries to rob a place after that, but they're not criminals, so he's really, really bad at it. And that's what I enjoyed about it too, is a realistic approach. And it's beautifully shot, and it's shot in a time nowadays where tensions are high, and it's a good movie to see, right?
Yeah.
Tensions are high with police. So it's a really good fucking movie. You gotta watch it. The soundtrack is great, and the girl who's in it, who's never acted before in her life, who plays Queen,
Really?
is fucking she's a bombshell.
Yeah.
Just a solid 10. But man, she's great in it. You gotta watch it, man. It really
Yeah.
that was a movie that I walked away with deep feelings for.
Well,
too.
when it comes out, I'm definitely going to.
But it only
tried
made my
That was
honorable.
another one on the plane coming back that I wanted to.
Oh yeah, that would have been worth
that I
it.
wanted to watch, but it had not came out yet.
Well, give me another honorable.
Okay, another honorable mention here. This is an interesting one. Again, we talk about 2019 in production companies. I think this is the best upcoming, and I keep saying upcoming, but it's well established.
Yeah, that's here.
Because it's here, and it's been here. But A24's The Last Black Man in San Francisco.
Yeah.
That was a really, really good movie, and it's based on a true story. It's written by 2 friends that the one stars in it, and then the other one directs it. And then,
Yeah.
his friend in the script is actually him in real life.
It's one I never got saw, but I heard it was amazing. I heard
It
it
was.
kind of combines the magic or the realism and fantasy kind of. But that's one going through everyone's top 10 list, because I love going through best films, what other people
Same.
say, and
Yeah.
because a lot of directors come out with their top 10 lists. But man, it was just so many A24 films that I never even got a chance to watch. So many that I never saw a trailer
Yeah.
or anything, because they're not spending money on advertising. That's
No.
fuck sure.
No.
They're spending money where it needs to be spent.
And one of my favorite things about The Last Black Man in San Francisco was the cinematography and the way this was shot.
That's everything A24. Cinematography,
oh man, it's so good. But just like these slow zooms in on the character.
Yeah.
And just like when he's kind of dreaming, and I don't want to ruin anything because it's a good film, but like when he's kind of dreaming and just the slow pans and the shots and then the close-ups, it's a very artistic way of shooting, and I just absolutely fell in love with it.
That's how Queen Slim isn't A24, it's Universal, but it was like that with the wide camera angles and like the zoom in portrait shots of like and the slow motion and just the deep detail and everything. You see every like sweat bead and everything. Yep. But yeah. So I definitely got to see that. I think that's out on Amazon Prime. I think you can stream it. Yeah.
That's what I did. I just downloaded it.
I had no idea. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna watch it. But nice. Another one. I'll give another one of my peanut butter or another one of my honorable mentions.
another peanut butter.
Yeah. But Peanut Butter Falcon made my honorable mention.
And this was another one that I tried to get to. I did not get to it in time. So, I know it changed Shia LaBeouf's life, like legitimately changed his life in a lot of really positive ways. But I heard this movie is incredible.
And it was really close with being tied with another one of my top picks, which was Honey Boy.
Yes.
Honey Boy was number 3 on my list.
Wow, really? Yeah. On your top 10 list?
My top 10 list.
Gosh.
Peanut Butter Falcon was fucking phenomenal. It was right up there. It was so good. I can't remember the kid who plays in it, Zach something. It's his real name in the film, I think, as well. But he did such a good job. But yeah, man, Shia LaBeouf, that's one film where Shia LaBeouf gives everything. And I think that's a common theme now with Shia LaBeouf is he gives everything in every film these days. Because Honey Boy is the exact same way. And it's just an experience watching. It's so odd to watch someone put all their fucking, all the luggage that they've been carrying around and everything out there for everyone. It's so fucking odd. And it's weird to say it, but it's brave, you know? Imagine your worst part of your life and making an entire film about it. And having to go around and talk about it and promote it and everything. It's fucking wild, but it's got to be the most therapeutic moment of his life.
Oh, totally.
To have that film.
And obviously you can tell it's doing good for him because we don't see Shia LaBeouf.
Oh,
Shia LaBeouf is Shia LaBeouf, don't get me wrong, but he's not doing the things that he was doing in 2016 and 2017.
Just from an outside perspective, because we don't really know him, but he just looks like he's so much healthier and happier than he ever was. But yeah, man, this film, this is a first-time director. It was directed by another lady, Alma Harrell, who she's never directed before, but you got to see it. It's shot beautifully, you know, all Southern California.
Well, and that's the thing that irritated the shit out of me is because we talked about how much I wanted to see that. I couldn't find a theater that was playing it, and then the 1 week it was playing, I was in Vegas.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay.
Out of all the movies you haven't seen, I would recommend the most Honey Boy.
Okay.
Because it's him playing his dad, who he had a crazy, horrible relationship with. Him playing that character, it's bananas. Yeah. It's crazy, man. But he gives it his all, and it's a very depressing movie, just because of what he went through, man. It was crazy, and it kind of makes you dislike Even Stevens a little less, unfortunately, which I loved Even Stevens, but yeah, it's a really good film, man. It's one of those I think will go down in history as like a first of people, you know, putting their baggage out and making a movie about it. Yeah, because I guess if you're gonna do it, that's how you got to fucking do it.
I guess so.
You know, I don't know what his dad thought about it. We talked about it. He had to lie to his dad to get it made.
He did, yeah, because he said that
Mel Gibson
was going to play his dad.
And if you see his dad, like because I've seen pictures of his dad and I've seen videos because it shows videos after the film of his dad.
Oh, okay.
And Shia LaBeouf, he's doing a perfect one-on-one of his fucking dad, and you think, I mean, his dad must be a little slow if he thought Mel Gibson could fucking play him. Because his dad's kind of a dork, you know. He was Hell's Angels, but you know, he's got this big gun, he's balding and everything. Mel Gibson, like, how high of
how high of an ego must you have to think that Mel Gibson's gonna play you?
Only way I'm signing off if you get Brad Pitt to pay me, and that's the most realistic. But
that's funny.
Yeah, I'd recommend it. That made number 3 on my list.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you my number 3 on my list. This movie completely took me by surprise. I went into it with you know, relatively high expectations, but it completely surpassed and blew all my expectations out of the water. I thought this whole movie hit. It was just the right time. It was only 90 minutes, quick, in and out, perfect storyline, awesome film. That is Ready or Not, starring Samara Weaving.
Now, Ready or Not made my honorable.
Yeah.
But it hurt me. It hurt me.
Yeah.
This was probably the most fun I had in the theater.
It was a blast. Like every single minute of this, you were like wondering what was going to happen, and then the ending made it all worth it.
Yeah,
I was laughing hysterically at the end. You know?
It was. I don't know. I mean, I don't even know how to describe it. It was just, it's a simple story. I mean, but it wasn't dumbed down like most horror films are. Mm-mm. The character was making realistic decisions, which is the biggest fucking thing in horror films for me.
And the continuity too of the dress is something I appreciated.
Yeah, so did I. Yeah.
You know, it's not this awful Fast and Furious continuity.
Yeah, where it's just pristine white the entire time. Where he's obviously like switching out tank tops. Like, you know, for some reason he's carrying around 20 tank tops on him, and every time he gets dirty, he's swapping one out.
Swaps a new one.
Doesn't make sense for the character.
It doesn't. No.
But yeah, man, she's kind of a scream queen these days, man. I think she's as good as it gets as a last or final girl for us. But yeah, she did such a great job, and the entire family was cast perfectly as that rich, stereotypical assholes.
Yep.
But
who didn't care about anyone else.
It was. I say Jojo Rabbit was one of the best comedies. This is right up there for.
It is.
I was laughing my ass off.
There were a lot of great
at these
moments.
fucking one percenters going around that have obviously never done anything in their life. Going around trying to kill someone, never taken a life, never done anything, never fired a weapon. It's so one of my favorite scenes is a scene where she's running and one of the girls got the harpoon gun. It's like, I got her, and she's tracking. It's really slow motion, and in any other movie she would have shot her and would have hit her in the leg or anything. But she shoots and it's like 80 feet the other way. It's so far off, and like even she's running and she like barely even sees it, like flying over
way over her head. It's great.
Oh, I laughed so hard at that fucking scene. But yeah, stuff like that I love, man, because that's realistic, man. If you got
super realistic.
The fucking Koch brother family to try to hunt, they probably couldn't do it either.
No.
But yeah, that was on my honorable mentions. It should have been on my top, but it hurt me a lot. It was right up there. I'll give another honorable, but Knives Out made my honorable as well.
Same. It was my number one in honorable.
Because I had a lot of fun.
So terrible.
I had a lot of fun seeing that as well.
I thought it was incredible.
So much fun
too.
Guessing and trying to figure out who's who, what's what.
And the cast was great.
And the twist
of
them.
And that sweater.
The sweater, man, thick sweater.
They're getting cold.
I'm guessing usually when they got to do something like that to an actor, it's because they're too big. Mm-hmm. Like so, maybe I'm guessing they filmed this right when they were filming Captain America scenes, so he must have been jacked. Because they had to do the same thing for Tom Hardy in what was it? Wanted or something, where they were the moonshine runners.
Oh, okay.
And he had to wear a cardigan the whole time because he just gained 30 pounds for Bane. And seeing a guy that's just jacked moonshine runner, like, where are you working out at? But Knives Out was one of my honors too, because I had so much fun at that one as well. Just guessing, where it was going to go, and them revealing the mystery right at the start.
And it was so impressive that Rian Johnson not only directed but also wrote this film.
Yeah.
Coming off The Last Jedi, that I thought was good myself. It was a fun time at the theater.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right, should we do our number one worst movie?
Okay, let's do it now.
Yeah. Now, we shouldn't talk too much about it.
We shouldn't talk too much about it. No, because we will save it. Because our next podcast episode,
our first one of the year,
reviewing this film. We are reviewing the worst movie of 2019.
Yep.
And why don't you give the title? Go ahead.
It's not a long one. The film is Cats.
Holy meow.
Yep.
Holy meow.
So this is a film that we wanted to do immediately.
We did.
Because we saw the trailer and said, this is fucking horrifying. This is going to be a train wreck. Mm-hmm. We knew it almost had 0% chance of doing anything.
Anything?
But did we know it would be this bad?
No.
Did we know that they were going to release it with unfinished special effects?
It's multiple times.
How is it possible? How is it possible that gets out?
I have no idea.
Who's signing the okay on that? That guy, I don't
should
want
be taken out back like Old Yeller and
Yes.
shot in the field.
because at this point he's hurting people more than he's saving them.
Of course.
And
the
you got to do
studio's
that
gonna
guy the
lose.
favor of ending whatever fucking shitty life he's running.
It is reported that they're going to lose anywhere from $70 to $100 million on this movie.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I don't even know how to describe it. I talked
we'll
about,
talk about
yeah,
it more later on.
If you want to go into our in-depth
Depth.
review, watch that later because we are going to break that fucking film
we
down.
We definitely will, and we will be liquored up doing it.
Oh, absolutely.
'Cause,
But it was one of those that it was a
it was a train wreck.
I don't even know how to describe it because I don't think I've ever had an experience like it.
I have never checked the time so many times.
And it's one of those films you can because you're always the only one in the screen in the theater. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it was like,
Because I remember you texted me, I'm 40 minutes in.
I want to kill
This is a
myself.
train wreck. I'm like, man, how's he texting me? I'm like, oh, there's no one in that fucking theater.
Well, it was packed, but I didn't care.
It was packed?
It was the movie parlor.
Oh my God.
It was the movie parlor,
okay.
and it was filled up. However, I did not care because
Yeah.
anyone there is disrespecting just cinema in general watching this movie.
Yeah.
But there were people that were like this, like, because, you can see a lot more in the movie parlor. Some people were like, why am I here?
Yeah.
And then I looked it up in the middle of the movie. It was an hour and 50 minutes, and I was like 20 minutes in, and I'm like, oh my God, when is this going to get over?
Yeah.
This is just stupid.
It's not one I enjoyed at all. I'll just say that. It was,
Yeah, we'll talk about it more.
Yeah, I don't want to give it away too much because we will go into
Depth.
depth
Yes.
about just how good
And about
that film really is.
cameos.
Cameos and about the sexual tension between these cats. And am I supposed to want to fuck these cats?
I don't know, but they all want to fuck. They're all just saying, meow, meow, and they're like fucking their tails are like swiveling
it's like
back and
supposed
forth.
to be like
and they're all,
really
like, in
sexy,
heat.
but these are cat
But
people.
they're cappy. It's just not sexy at all.
And not only that, but like
disturbing.
how do you say it? It didn't make sense, like the sizing of things. Some
no,
things were
this-
way too
yeah,
big.
way too big,
Some
and
things
some
were
things
like
were small.
and some things were like, oh, that's how it's supposed to be with a cat. And some things were giant. Like, what is happening here? Why is this so? Why is
this so whimsical? Why is this so ridiculous and utterly stupid? Good question.
Yeah, we'll get into
I
it
have no
though.
idea. Yeah, we will.
But it was my number one.
Now I'm
worst.
starting to heat up thinking. God,
Well, I only have my my number one left.
I only have my number 1 and number 2 left.
So give me your number 2.
So
Oh,
no, I'll
wait.
give you my number
Give me your number
1.
one, yep.
And then you give me your number 1 because your number 1 is my number 2.
Well, your number 1 is tied for my number 3 with something. So go ahead.
Okay. So my number 1 favorite film of this year, and this is not solely, but a lot of it is due to the performance of this. I was so entrenched, so engrossed into this film that it really was an incredible movie. The director typically does comedies, or at least his resume.
Well, he's only done comedies.
Yeah. And for this film, everything worked for me. And that was The Joker, Joaquin Phoenix Joker, directed by Todd Phillips. I thought it was just absolutely astonishing. I really enjoyed the storyline. It was so grounded. It was so realistic. And it was really a case study on mental illness. I really thought that's what this whole film really was. I know it was a Otherworlds, DC film, but I didn't really feel like that at all, except the ending, where like the pearls get ripped off for a second. But this was like a film based in reality, and it gave so many references to Taxi Driver, Martin Scorsese's Taxi Driver, that I just absolutely loved. Because De Niro's so good in that film, and then I really just feel like Joaquin Phoenix took this to the next level. This performance is incredible. I'd love to see it again.
This was tied as my number 3 with John Wick. This was tied as my number 3 with John Wick. But I loved it. There's just a few scenes in Joker that were so good that just stuck with me. They were some of the best scenes that I saw this year. That scene when he's in the bathroom right after he kills him was so good, and it felt so raw and real. And that it was so obviously shot in the moment. That wasn't, again, we talked about it before, but that wasn't written in. They didn't know what they were going to do in the bathroom. He was supposed to go in there kind of panicky or whatever. But that just felt so natural for Arthur Fleck to do.
Totally.
And that just goes to show how good Joaquin Phoenix was in that character.
Yep.
Because he knew exactly what he would do as that person. Yeah, and it was great. The cinematography was great. Like you said, it was shot in the Taxi universe, I would almost say.
Yeah.
Where it showed that really great, dirty, gritty New York, and just how a cold son of a bitch that city can be.
And there were some moments that were so dark in this movie, and so dark. But then there were some great comedic moments in this that were like legitimately really funny.
Yeah.
Like right after this gruesome killing, and then, I can't reach.
Yeah, that was great.
So Arthur, can you help
that
me?
was one of my favorite scenes as well.
And
the
he gives
scenes
him a
where
little kiss on the head.
where
And
he
he's like, "You're
kills
the
the
only
other
one
guy. Yep.
that was kind to me."
And the scene at the end when the talk show with Robert De Niro, I thought was one of
brutal
great
and
scenes
awesome.
as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
a
And,
great back and forth between these two characters.
Yes.
That was it was awesome. Well, Martin Scorsese was originally heavily involved.
He was.
He was almost going to direct it at one point, but yeah, and that movie is probably had the heaviest impact on society. I mean, not just culture, with everyone
with
going
the
to the
panic and
stairs
everything,
and
yeah.
everyone doing exactly. With that going into it, and just how just everyone was the fucking Joker for Halloween, and it was the biggest movie of the year, I think, for sure. But ready for my number one?
This is my number 2, so yes, sir, I am.
You already know what it is.
And I called this before the podcast. I go, Cash, I already know what.
And
your
I'm
number one
upset
is.
because we never got to review it.
We didn't get a review of it, but when it comes out again and we can watch it, we will definitely go back and review this. There's
Yeah.
no reason why we can't.
Maybe for Halloween.
Yeah.
Next year. But yeah, it's The Lighthouse.
Right. The
Robert Eggers.
Yep.
Directed by Robert Eggers, starring Robert Pattinson, starring my man, friend of the show, William Dafoe.
Yeah. Friend of the podcast.
Friend of the
Yes,
podcast.
he is.
We don't even like having him around because he's a creepy motherfucker.
He definitely is.
He's just the oddest
We
looking.
love him.
He's the oddest looking man I've ever seen.
Yes.
But he is
Brilliant
so
actor.
a powerful actor in
Yes.
this film. My God, that little man's got fire in him.
He absolutely.
We saw
does.
it in the Green Goblin. We know he's got.
yeah,
we
we
know
know
he
he's
can go
got
0 to 100. Well, we know. All joking aside, we know Willem Dafoe is one of the best actors
Yes.
around. Just every role he's in is good, no matter the role. But yeah, this film was so fucking good. Shot in that 1920s fucking black and white.
Yep.
I can't remember what ratio it is in, but it's so beautifully shot, and it's just shot in a way that no film is shot these days.
No.
And
it
immediately
feels
the
like
aspect
one
ratio
continuous-
immediately shrinks, but you're 5 minutes into it, you're fine. And the dialogue is so good, so real. It feels like you're in the fucking 1800s New England. And at first you're having trouble understanding these guys. But as the story goes on, man, it just kind of clicks in. And
It does.
I don't know, everything about this. And the horror was great, man. It was so fucking scary
And the
and
mythology
ominous and
behind
stuff.
it as well.
Yeah.
The mythology is really,
With
really
pulling
good.
from so much like Greek mythology and then like Cthulhu and stuff like that, or Cthulhu. But yeah, it's just it was probably the best H.P. Lovecraft film I've ever seen. With the fucking tentacle monster and the mermaid floating on shore. That scene was fucking
That was so trippy with the logs and stuff too,
Yeah.
and it's like
Yeah.
separating.
And
And,
I
I'm
wouldn't-
like, what am I watching?
And I wouldn't even call this as much. It's not nearly as much as a slow burn as The Witch, because it almost gets started fucking immediately. That's what
When
I
it's
loved.
it's this crazy descent into madness.
Yeah.
What?
And again, it's this. Yeah, it's like you're watching it and you're going crazy as you're
Yes.
watching it.
I was going crazy watching this film. Like literally, I had to walk out and be like, "Am I okay?"
At 3/4 in, he goes, "How long have we been here?" And you're literally thinking, "How long have I been watching this movie? I mean, have I been here weeks or a month?" It's crazy.
It is.
You start talking about how long you've been here, a week, a month, and you start realizing, oh, there's no fucking way of
There's
telling.
no timetable.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
There's nothing. And then, oh, the storm is fine off the shore, but this storm lasts months here. What kind of world are we in? They're in hell. That's
They
my
are.
whole thing was
It's-
they were
it's
in
purgatory or
hell,
something,
purgatory.
yeah.
There's some kind of stuck in the middle or something. That's what I thought for sure. But with Robert Eggers, and what I love is there's no clear defining story. It's all up to interpretation. Whatever. The seagull scene, that's the most realistic beating of a bird
Holy
I've
shit.
ever seen.
I know. When
I'm
he's pounding
almost
that bird on the
positive
rock.
he killed a
A
fucking
real seagull.
call fucking PETA. They need to be on that shit. I mean, because
They absolutely do, because that was so realistic.
It was so brutal, and what those guys went through, they said of shooting that was horrible because they were all on fucking location. And
well, you see William Dafoe's character too, and like he has like some weird sexual attraction as well to the light.
Yes,
that we're seeing too, and we're wondering.
It's so weird. At some point, they almost have a sexual attraction to each other. And that at that point, it's complete chaos and it's complete madness. And they don't know who they are. We don't know who they are.
And the editing's so good too, because they can go from yelling at each other to slow dancing.
Yes,
with each other, and you're like, what is?
And I've watched that scene.
What is this?
So many times on YouTube when he gets up and he goes, "Damn you!" and he gives that that fucking monologue, man. If I was gonna do one monologue, I would pick that fucking monologue. Yeah. I remember when I was originally in drama in freshman year, everyone had to do a monologue. Yes. And I just struggled. If I had that monologue, although I would never be able to do it, but just the kids in the audience would be like, "What the fuck is this guy?" But yeah, that monologue where he's just, damn ye. Oh, when he's talking about Neptune and just every other sea monster and god. I don't know. It just made me want to be a sailor.
It does.
I want to go out there. I want those fucking stories. But yeah, man, the light. Do not look into that light. And I love it. And it never gives a clear answer to that, what that light is. But we know it's fucking something. When he's up there naked, it's just horrifying imagery. He's up there just standing fucking nude. And that's like the second night Robert Patterson's on it. He's like,
this is weirder than I expected. This is not the shit I signed up for.
And he's telling you, you cannot go up to that fucking light and only he can. Mm-hmm. Red flags.
Yeah.
Red flags, my guy.
And you find out a lot about Robert Patterson's character as well, too, in that film.
Exactly.
Where he's not exactly who he says he is either.
And you start thinking,
what is real and what is fake?
Who's the bad guy? Who's the good guy? Who's fucking Winslow? Who's he? This guy he's pretending to be. It's an acid trip of a fucking movie. No doubt, man.
It's like the Mandy of 2018.
It really is. Mm-hmm. It really is, because you're watching it and you're like, and I went back and I watched it. I saw it twice in theaters. I've seen it once, I think, since then, but you don't believe what you're seeing. No. It's that high strangeness where it's like, this is too bizarre to be real.
Yeah.
It's so fucking weird. But great, man. I can't believe we didn't review that, but we definitely will.
We definitely will.
Because
There's
that
no
was
way
my
we
number
don't.
one. But yeah, it was a good year for horror films. By good year, I mean there's probably 3 good ones.
It was a great year. It was a great year for A24. I mean, because you look at our top 10 list.
Oh yeah,
which is absolutely incredible. But
there's films
between
that
my honorable mention and my top 10, like it hit 4 or 5.
And there's films that I didn't see of A24. A Hidden Life, the story of the conscientious objector during World War II. Have you seen the German guy? That was on everyone's like top 2 or top 3 top 3 movies. So I really there was a ton of movies I didn't get a chance to see.
Yeah.
Just because they're not in a theater or anything. And we don't live in a big enough city
where we have those available.
Our closest thing is we went all the way 45 minutes to the Hollywood Theater just to see the Irishman.
Yeah.
And that's the fucking Irishman. That's
that's a giant film
that no one was showing.
No one in our area. Yeah. And it just sucks.
So we got to move to like LA or New York or something.
I'm down if you want to move to LA.
Well, at least then we'll have a fucking advantage of seeing every film in theater.
We could.
Yeah. Because I saw some guy on Reddit posted he saw like 800 movies this year, like all in theaters. And the films he was listing were like these small, tiny, but he lives in New York.
Yeah. So we get to see all of them.
Yeah, exactly.
So lucky.
Yeah.
That's something that I really wish we had.
Yeah, well, we don't have any indie theater companies at all in Vancouver, Washington, unfortunately. We have 2 of the biggest theater companies.
In the Northwest.
Yeah, AMC and Regal.
Yep.
So, and they only show movies that they can show 9 times a day.
And it's going to make them a lot of money.
A shit ton of money, yeah. And like you said, I had to go out and see The Lighthouse. I mean, I had to go down to downtown Vancouver just to see The Lighthouse at Regal. So,
well, I was fortunate enough because they played it for like 1 week at AMC.
Yeah,
and then
I went and tried.
So gross. I would come out of that theater and these guys were just complaining. They're like, "That was the stupidest movie I've ever watched in my life." And I'm just like, "Come here, come here,
let me slap the shit out of you." And Parasite. Parasite is on everyone's top 10 list.
But again, couldn't find it anywhere.
Again, they had the poster at Cinematography. Yeah. Man, they had the giant 18-foot cutout of Parasite.
And they never showed it in the theater.
Why do you have it in your fucking theater
if you're not
advertising
show the movie?
it?
It's frustrating as all get out.
Doesn't make any sense to me. But yeah, so there were some that we missed that would probably have made our top 10 list, which should 1917 is not even released yet, and everyone's saying that it's
one continuous shot too.
That's what I heard, and I don't think I've ever seen that in a war movie.
And I think that is going to be impeccably good.
Oh,
I think that would unquestionably hit both of our top 10s.
Yeah, so there's some films that. So if you're mad at us for not seeing a film or not putting in a list that you had on your top 10, just know it's probably because we never got a chance to see it.
Exactly.
Because we live in some goddamn one-horse town. We got to open up an indie theater.
We do.
And we would
we'd
go out of business in a month
immediately. Because no one cares about film.
We'd show the greatest films ever made. It'd be like Citizen Kane and the new indies and stuff like that. And we would get one guy.
Yeah, it's a travesty, honestly.
It sucks.
It's not okay. So.
Yeah, we just got to go someplace that's showing them.
Yep.
But that is my top 10. Did you have any on your bottom 5 that you thought should have made or that you didn't get to talk about?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have one other one. It's definitely a biased one, but I can't stand the over the top action films. Hobbs and Shaw, I thought was hot steaming garbage.
Yep.
It's so over the top. It's not.
Well, that was one we had to get drunk for.
We did. We had to get drunk in the summertime and review that, and that was a lot of fun.
That was a lot of fun.
That was a lot of fun because that podcast we got a little crazy, but it's just like for me, I just can't do that. I get it.
Not anymore.
Some people enjoy that, but that's just not good filmmaking to me. It's not something I enjoy. Like Die Hard, I enjoy because that's realistic. That's grounded in reality. That could actually happen.
Well, like the original Fast and Furious, not a perfect movie. I enjoyed it.
Exactly.
That's an action movie.
Yeah.
It's not Hobbs and Shaw though. It's such a weird. It should be in its own category, like fantasy action or something like that, because it's not.
It shouldn't be categorized as.
Yeah. Even Mission Impossible, where he's ramping it up every fucking time. But he's doing shit. He's doing shit that literally a guy could do. I mean, he's got to be really fucking good at everything to do it.
Right.
I mean, but a guy can flip a helicopter. It's not recommended. That's not the way you fly helicopters.
Yeah, no.
But he could do it. But The Rock pulling down a
helicopter with his arm. I'm like, what
8 years ago we saw Captain America do the same thing. That was like, oh, he's Captain America. Yeah, that's the big thing.
He's a superhero.
But Hobbs is doing it. Or I can't remember. Is he Hobbs or Shaw?
I don't know. I don't know which one he is.
But Hobbs is doing it like it's every goddamn thing, and no one's batting an eye. That's the biggest thing. I think these films would be so much better if they
grunting when he's doing it. He's like,
these films would be so much better if they had one guy that was constantly like grounded. Like after those scenes, he ran up and be like, "Could we talk about it?
Yeah." Can we talk about that incredible accomplishment?
You should have been ripped in half. What's happening? And everyone else is just going along, and he's just camp. He's freaking out.
It would make it so much
better. You kicked the guy 30 feet out of a window.
He literally exploded on impact. How'd you do that?
Your leg is fine. You're good. I don't know. And
he just fell 300 feet.
You ran down a building. You didn't even flinch. You didn't second guess it. You didn't put a harness on.
God.
Just one guy just constantly be like,
what the fuck is going on? It would make the movie so much better.
Yeah.
So much better.
But yeah. But I also had Yesterday on my bottom 5.
You did,
I never got to.
Yeah. Which I had such high hopes. I mean,
it blew my mind. You get the Beatles catalog.
You get to use all the Beatles
and you're
songs.
playing Ed Sheeran 2/3 out of the fucking movie.
Oh, God.
Ed Sheeran had such a prominent role in that movie.
He did.
He might have had more lines than the main guy. It blew my mind. That might have been just the Ed Sheeran movie. It had nothing to do with the fucking Beatles.
No. And it was so disappointing because it was advertised as if
it was the Beatles movie.
The Beatles.
Like, this is the one. Because they don't give their music out to anyone.
Stamp of approval for anything. Yeah.
I couldn't believe that was the one. I could not. But that was a movie that could have been good, I thought.
Oh, yeah. It could have been great.
I thought it had a lot of potential. The story, I thought, the outlining story was good. It was just everything in between was just
a mess.
Horrendous. Yeah. But that's it.
I have a few more honorable mentions.
Give them.
I got to give them to them. I got to give them their due credit because I really thought these films were great. Two Popes is another film on Netflix, a matter of fact.
One I just saw that was amazing.
I thought it was incredible. Great acting.
You know who's...
It's based on the true story of Pope Benedict XVI and Pope Francis.
Yeah. Pope Francis, friend of the show.
Friend of the show, yeah. I forgot about that.
Wow, I was thinking that the whole time I was watching it. Like, this guy
said
this podcast was super legit.
Yeah, he said it was super legit, yeah.
He's a cool Pope, though. watching that movie, you're like, man, this guy's a lot different from
Well,
any
and now
other
now
fucking
what you
pope.
see what he's doing with the church, he's releasing all the documents and stuff, and
Yeah, and he's not a perfect pope
No.
because some of the things he's done has been
Questionable.
shitty still, but
Yeah.
but that's a big step. That was a huge thing.
well, and by no means do I back the Catholic Church at all. No, it's pretty gross.
but he's
what
probably
the
the
shit
best
they
pope
do.
of all time.
Yeah, probably in the last
'Cause
50
the bar,
years.
I believe,
yeah,
is
has been set real low.
very low. I mean, there might be a few that were just good, but I don't think lasted long.
No.
At all. But yeah, The Two Popes was a very good movie.
So that one, the two popes, they shall not grow old. I had to bring up. I know it's a documentary, but
Was
Peter
it
Jackson.
2018?
That was 2019, the very beginning.
Because it said I almost put it on there too because it would have made my top 10 list, but it came out Christmas last year, 2018.
Did it?
It did because it didn't come here, I don't think, till 2019.
Okay,
they
then
showed
that's
it Christmas
what it was, 'cause I thought we
I'm
saw that
almost
in
positive
January.
that's a 2018 movie.
Okay. Well, then maybe not. But
it would've
World
made my
War
list for
I,
sure.
Restored footage. Peter Jackson. Nonetheless, go check it out. It's incredible.
It's probably the greatest
definitely
war
worth-
documentary of all time.
Of all time. It's
if not the
impeccably
greatest war movie of all time.
Yes. And then I have one other film, and that's Guillermo del Toro's Scary Stories
Same
to Tell
on
in the
mine.
Dark.
Was pleasantly
Really good.
well. He didn't. He produced it.
Yeah, that is very true.
We gotta make that- yeah, we-
got to make that clear. You are absolutely right.
Although I'm sure
did
he has a
produce
heavy
it.
hand in all these films, but he did only produce that. It was directed by another horror director. But
Yes.
yeah, that movie that's the movie of something you. I mean, that's the kind of movie that's something that you love growing up as a kid, doing a well adaptation of that because that was a great movie.
Andre Overidol.
He's like Ukrainian or something
Yes.
like that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he directed Troll Hunter.
Yes.
2010.
Yeah. But yeah, I loved it, man. I loved Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Yeah, so did I. I figured that was worth an honorable mention. It's kind of one of those weird
It did
ones.
great
that no
justice.
one-
It gave great justice to the source material.
Yeah, I didn't really
original.
find that on anyone's list of best movies of the year, but for me, I thoroughly enjoyed that, and I thought it was a good enough scary stories film where you can enjoy it as an adult, but this would be a good introductory horror film for
I
a
would-
15-year-old or.
Well, I would put this as one of
14-year-old.
my most underrated movies of the year because even when it came out, there wasn't a lot
of
They
talk
screwed up by having it come out in September, not October.
Yep, I totally agree with
Because
that.
by the time it rolled around in October, there was no commercials for it, and there was 2 theaters showing it.
Mm-hmm.
It was like early September, it might have been
Yes.
September 1st.
It was either September. Yeah,
It was damn near a summer
super
movie.
early.
Yeah, it was a damn near summer, and that movie definitely would have done better because it takes place in Halloween as well during the time.
It does. It literally takes place.
But
during that time.
that's gonna be one that I start watching every year for Halloween for sure. It's that good. It's made the list.
No, it came out August 9th,
Yeah, so even earlier.
even earlier.
Yeah, that was odd. But there was,
was
a lot
very
of there was a
odd
lot of horror movies coming out
There was.
September, October. But you gotta put that in there.
Yeah.
Because that movie that was my biggest gripe was, it should have been fall when I saw this.
Yep.
Because it was fucking the middle of August.
And I think that's why it just kind of missed a lot of people's,
Yeah.
vision.
But yeah, definitely worth seeing. Definitely a really good Halloween movie, and like you said, one you can probably watch with kids. Although was surprisingly scary to me.
It is scary at times, yes.
But the books were like that as well, and that is exactly the same kind of sentiment that the movie had.
Mm-hmm.
Was it's for kids, but we're not gonna fucking we're gonna make it real.
Yeah.
Kids need to be scared as well. I agree.
Yeah,
You can't make
they
soft
do.
kids.
You can't.
I grew up with horrifying kids movies that were not kids movies.
Well, right. You go back and watch that Nickelodeon show, something, The Cowardly Dog. and I'm
Courage
like,
Dog,
Courage.
Cartoon Network.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, damn, that show was actually scary back
Yeah,
then.
stuff like that. There was a lot of kids movies that were Chitty Bang Bang that movie came out way later, but that was a kids movie that was horrifying. I was scared of the puppet movie for a long time. Dark Crystal.
Dark Crystal, yeah.
That was supposed to be a kids movie, and I did not feel like when watching that as a
No.
kid, I was like, this
With the
is
Skeksis, yeah, they're pretty scary, dude.
yeah. But a
They're
lot of
scary
films
looking.
like that, I think, just make better people.
Yeah, they do.
Scare them early. That way they don't go
Mold
into,
them.
That way they don't go in the world thinking that there's not scary things, and then they're although there's not giant pale women chasing.
No, there's not. That scene was terrifying.
I've gone back and watched that scene
Yes.
since, and it is.
And it is terrifying.
And something I love about that film is the kids fucking die in that film.
They do?
I don't love kids
kids-
dying, but there's so many kids movies where we like at the very end.
They all live.
Just kidding. Everyone's alive.
Yeah. And
This
it,
film,
and it takes away from
kids died. That woman really got the spider in her face.
She did.
Remember that she had a pretty gruesome
Yeah.
scar, but she lived.
She lived.
But everyone else
But
fucking
the one who got swallowed by that scary ass pale woman,
dead.
dead.
Scarecrow
Never came
kid became a scarecrow. Dead.
Yep.
Yeah, I love that. Don't
do
pull
I.
any punches.
No, just go
They're
for it.
kids. They're not morons.
Yeah.
So many. Yeah. I hate when people dumb the things down for kids. But anyway, Scary Stories, I'd recommend it. Absolutely. Honorable mention. Great one.
And that's the last one I have.
That's all I got. That's
All
my
right.
top 10. It was a good year.
It was a really good year for film.
It was.
It was. I mean, the fact that we spent majority of this podcast pretty much gushing about how many great films there were and not as many bad films.
Yeah.
There were awful films this year.
Awful films.
But
I just managed not to see that many.
yeah,
this year.
exactly. We just managed not to because we
Yeah.
were so busy with how many good films were out.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the takeaway from 2019 was if we were to grade 2019, I would give this year a solid A for films.
Yeah.
I really thought it was incredible.
Well, let's say if a 1993 is an A, I'd probably give this a B.
Okay.
Because we're 1993, we're just every week,
Yeah.
Jurassic Park, you had fucking Saving Private Ryan, you had everything coming out. But yeah, it was a really good year. And 2020's got some movies coming out that I'm excited for too.
Well, yeah, we were talking about that earlier on the trailer reactions. I mean, how many films we're looking forward to in
Guillermo del
2020?
Toro's coming out with a film. We have Keanu Reeves Day coming. We got John Wick and also a sequel to The Matrix after 15 years. We have Birds of Prey. We have some superhero films that are coming out.
Looks awesome.
Tenet looks amazing. The last James Bond looks fucking awesome.
Yeah, Bond 25.
Yeah, No Time to Die. So a lot to look forward to. 2020, I am actually looking forward to.
Same.
I've said that in the past, but there is a lot of movies that I think could be really, really fun.
And we get Dune at the end of the year as well.
Oh, God. Don't even Dune that to me. Yeah, my feelings on Dune.
No, I know your feelings on Dune, and I know you are very excited for that film.
I could not be. This is probably my most anticipated film of the last 10 years, probably.
Wow.
Especially after Star Wars is over now and how
Yeah,
I've
thank
been
God
pretty
for that.
disappointed. This just ramps up my my Dune hype. One thing I got to add in, one last thing. Mandalorian. We didn't get to talk about it. It's not a
We can
movie,
talk about it.
but probably the best thing to come out of 2019.
Absolutely, I'm wearing the Baby Yoda sweatshirt.
Baby
that I
Yoda.
now have.
There you go. Check that out.
Check that out on our YouTube channel, the Baby Yoda sweatshirt.
Yes, sir.
Dude, Mandalorian, like I don't have a single gripe about it at all. I mean, for how much
I wanted to
Disney
put it on my top 10 list, even though it's not a movie.
I know. And it deserves it as well. Like as far as TV shows, every single episode was amazing. The directors were incredible.
Yep.
Every episode, like it just felt like Star Wars.
It's the best. I said it was the best Star Wars we've gotten since the OT original trilogy. Stand by it.
I stand by that too. I totally agree. I thought it was not a single thing wrong with it.
Yeah.
I cannot wait. And
My
I love
favorite
the dynamic
my,
duo.
Everything.
Mandalorian and Baby Yoda.
Everything that's came out of Star Wars since Disney owned it. My favorite things have been the non-trilogy. Rogue One,
Rogue One was
Mandalorian.
my favorite film out of all of them so far.
And they don't follow the trilogy.
Nope.
Take the fucking hint, Disney. You don't gotta keep the same characters anymore.
No.
You don't gotta do
You
a
have
Han
a whole
Solo.
universe. You can do any characters you want in the universe.
Yeah.
Just make the story compelling. That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
But I
make
don't
a
want to see
story.
this.
Yeah. Make
Please
something
quit bringing
interesting.
back old characters over and over and over and over and thinking you have to just recycle.
Do a character I don't know a lot about.
Right.
I know a lot about Han Solo.
Yeah.
I know he did the Kessel Run in 5 parsecs. All right. I know.
We know.
You don't gotta show me it again. That's all he talks about.
Gosh.
But yeah, Mandalorian. I just wanted to bring it up. If we were going to talk about 2019, we got to talk about Mandalorian. Yes, it was a good year for TV as well. I never got to watch Chernobyl, but it's going to win everything.
I watched half of it. I haven't finished it yet.
Yeah, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it now that the hype's over.
I'm done. I don't have HBO anymore, so that's why I quit. But I'll finish it someday.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
Well, you know how it ends.
Yeah, I do know how it ends. Yeah, people get cancer.
People
get radiation.
The ones that
poisoning.
don't melt, they get cancer. Yeah.
Yeah, the ones that don't die immediately.
Immediately, yeah.
It's so crazy watching that show, and like the people would be puking in the room. They're like, "Oh, they're fine."
The
And I'm
cover
like,
up
"What
is
the
crazy.
fuck?"
Well, I mean, that's just the height of the USSR, where it's like people just didn't know they were brainwashed. Like
We
they were
want to
so.
talk about cover up today. Did you hear
Oh yeah,
that? We have
I
high
knew-
belief that the
Yeah,
Iranians
on
shot
accident.
down that plane.
Did you hear
On
that?
accident, yeah.
Well, actually, we came out saying we think they did on accident, thinking it was one of ours.
Yeah, well, because they found parts from the missile
Duh, it was
on
so.
the ground. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
because-
knew it wasn't.
Well, here's the thing: if you know anything,
like, what are the
about
odds a
aircrafts,
plane blows up in Iran the day
the
we
day
blow
we-
up?
Yeah,
Or the week that we killed one of their top generals. I'm like, what are the odds?
Yeah.
But Iran was like, yeah, it was an accident. Well, Iran was like, yeah, it wasn't a missile. They're like, the engine blew up.
yeah, the engine blew up, but that's not true because the engine's like.
Well, the
those
engine did blow
planes-
up after it was hit by a missile. So they weren't wrong.
That's very
They
true. I
weren't
guess
wrong.
so. They weren't.
Maybe that was the way. We're like, they never asked how the engine blew up, but it definitely.
What did you
blew
notice?
up.
Like right away, they're like, "No, we're not giving out the black box."
Yeah.
And no, of course not. It was shot down.
Yeah.
You watch the video too. Planes just don't act that way.
Yeah, what I heard, it was just high tension that time. They were so scared of, but there's ways of knowing a civilian plane. And also,
Right.
we shot down a civilian plane in Iran 10 years ago or 20 years ago. So it might have been. But there's no Americans on this one.
No, there weren't. No.
If you're gonna
63
do
Canadians.
Yeah, so
too,
if you're gonna do revenge on Americans,
which I hope you wouldn't.
No, we wouldn't, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, because they already did their revenge, is what they said.
Well, they missed on every single shot that they took.
Well, they
The
didn't miss.
15 missiles.
Just everyone got enough warning to where they were all in
Well,
bunkers.
yeah, they warned Iraq before they shot it. It's
Yeah.
to save face with their own people, which makes sense.
Well, yeah, they didn't want to
As a
kill.
country.
They didn't want to.
No, they did not want to kill Americans.
No.
Not after the tweets that our president was sending out. I would not want to go there either.
Well,
Not
they
with the
didn't want to
strongest
escalate.
military
No.
in the world.
I did not. I don't want
do
a
not
war.
want the
I don't want a
escalation.
World War III either,
No, neither do I.
because I can still get drafted.
You can.
So can you?
Nuh-uh. I'm 26, bro. I'll be 26 the next in like
Oh,
3 days.
wow.
So I'm out of the draft in 3 days.
Oh yeah. You're 26 in 3 days.
Yeah, like 3 days. Yeah. So see you later, Cash. I
God
guess
damn it.
this solo podcast. Welcome to the Have You Seen It Mason Knight
I'll be doing it
podcast.
from Iran. It really sucks over here. I didn't get to see the movie last week. Just a lot of explosions. I didn't get to see a lot this week.
You end up running for your life.
Yeah.
Oh god.
But I'm like, so they have to. So how the draft works is they do 20-year-olds first, 21-year-olds second, 23-year-olds, then 24-year-olds, which is me. So I'm four draft orders. So they got to go that deep in the draft.
Then it's probably not looking good for anyone.
I'm headed to Canada, which Canada might join the war for fucking anyone. Now that 63 Canadians,
I know.
or they're just gonna form an apology
An
letter.
apology. Yeah, they're like, we're very
Why are you sending
sorry.
us?
Yeah. Why are you like? This wasn't your
Yeah,
fault.
we shut down your plane.
It just says sorry.
Sorry. But yeah, fun times. 2019 has been crazy. If this
doozy.
was a fucking news podcast, we'd have
We would be
a
having
lot
so
to
much
recap.
fun. But not fun. But
No, well, we would be having fun.
we'd be having fun because it doesn't,
Yeah,
whatever.
it doesn't directly affect us. But yeah, it is. Yeah, we would have. This would be a 9-hour recap of
Absolutely.
everything.
Of everything that
that
went down because there's so much. There's so much.
I
that's
can't
gone
wait
down
to see the
this year.
documentary of this year.
Oh,
And
I
like
know.
20 years from now, it's gonna be,
It'll
or
be
just the
fascinating.
10s in general.
Yeah, just the 10s.
Just
Yeah.
2010s in general.
Yep.
That will be fun.
It will be.
Because it is a wild time. And it's going to make great TV someday.
And you know what?
It's making great
Someday
TV
our
now.
children are gonna ask, Daddy, what was it like back then?
And what can we
Well,
say? It's exactly
It
what you
was-
think. It was chaos.
It was crazy times. It was crazy times. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of scared, but it was
Mostly fear,
Mostly
but when
fear.
you weren't cowering in fear, you were living,
you were living the life.
Because you thought you were going to
Because
die.
Any time you could die. It was like the Cuban Missile Crisis. Anytime you thought you could go.
Anytime, so you were living hard. We do a lot of
hard
hard
fast.
living in the 10s, yeah.
We started lacing our Coke with fentanyl.
Yeah, well, we had to, because this shit ain't strong enough.
No, it's-
This ain't giving me the high anymore that I need. And that's the times. That tells you the times when you got to start mixing your hard drugs with other hard drugs because it just ain't happening. It just ain't doing the trick anymore.
It's not.
It's a wild, wild times.
Definitely is.
But and I think it's aging us.
No, it's aging us faster than we know.
Because we don't look like we're mid-20s.
Okay.
But I think that's the general consensus with everyone. I think everyone our age is looking a little older. There's a lot of stress these fucking days,
a lot
dude.
of stress.
But I don't know, entertaining nonetheless.
It is. It is fun.
Entertaining.
I cannot wait. Yeah. It will be primetime television for me when we get to the debates.
Oh yeah.
The debates.
It's
I
like
don't
the guys.
care who
It
you
was
are,
like the
I don't
guys
care.
playing the violin on the Titanic when it was going down,
Yes.
and they're just everyone else is panicking,
And they're just like,
but they're rocking out.
all good.
This guy's doing a fiddle, fucking.
he's like, this is the last time. This is my last performance. I'm just gonna
I'm gonna
go
go
all out.
hard as hell, and people are gonna fucking love it. The guy on the cello
They're
was
gonna
going
appreciate this
stupid
shit.
on it. Yeah, those guys were doing their best beats.
They were.
because they knew it was the end. That's gotta be us, man.
It is.
We know it's going down. Let's give it all we got.
We have to.
That's the message
All
to
day,
everyone
every
out there.
day.
Yeah, if you know you're dying,
Just go for it.
live it, brother.
Live it.
Live it.
Live it up. Live it up.
Would not join the army right now at this point.
Yeah, I'd say just wait.
Wait.
Wait for the cool off period.
Yep.
Really think about your.
And you might not
options
even
out
have to
there.
join. They might be joining for you.
They could.
Did you see the fake text message going around to the army?
I did see that. And all
If
the
you're gonna
kids
get
are
drafted,
panicking.
you're not gonna get in a
You're not going to get into a text back. Oh, hey, BT Dubs,
BRB.
show up. Show up to our air base in North Carolina.
You coming through?
Yeah, you come through.
Got an extra tank spot for you. Yeah, come on, drop by. But,
It is funny because like the draft's not going to happen. Not right now.
well, we have more.
Everything's
Well, we have
calming
more
down.
people in the
We'll be all
in the
right.
military now more than we ever had.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Well, and it's like it's
So we would
it's
have to-
actually
it's
like
unfortunate
a good
we would have to-
career choice to be in the military too because you can get your education paid for. You get room.
Well,
and
they say
board
being in
when
po-
we're not at war.
they say being in poverty is the draft, anyways, because a lot of people nowadays, because they're so poor, they end up joining the army anyways.
Yeah.
So that's fucking the draft, anyways, man. Like it's a lot of times it's the only out for people, which sucks.
Yeah.
That you have to join the army just to get fed and get health care. That's a big thing people are joining these days.
Healthcare. Yeah, that's true.
Health care for your family as well. So it's shitty that people have to join.
Healthcare's so expensive. I mean, medical, like you go to the ER, dude, it costs you thousands of dollars.
That's the biggest
It's
thing,
just
man.
like, what the?
Yeah.
How? What?
It's 2020. The Jetsons, they're eating pill meals, and
pill
we don't even
meals.
have universal health care.
No, we don't. It's pretty ridiculous.
Like we were far off from that Jetsons world where they got AIDS and they just took a shot. And they were like, AIDS cured.
AIDS gone. Yeah,
We
no.
don't have that.
No, we do not.
We don't have that. If you have AIDS,
And I've watched these videos too of like other countries. They're like, how much do you think it costs over in the United States?
And
to
they're
get
like,
an EpiPen? And they're like, I don't know, 25 pounds.
what's
And
a
they're
liver
like,
transplant these days?
"Try
I don't know.
500 pounds. And they're like, what?
No, it's like trying for like 5,000.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
way more than that. Yeah, and their guesses are so wild. They're like, I don't know, a tenner.
Yeah, a tenner.
No,
Pitcher of beer.
try $80,000. That is a wild thing.
It is. It's crazy.
But this isn't a political podcast. This is a movie podcast, Mason. Get off that.
All righty. Well, we're 2 hours in. That's what we do.
That's what
we're
we do.
2 hours in. We just go off the rails a little
we
bit at
do.
the end. Yeah, so our podcast you can find on YouTube. Type in "Have you seen it?" "Have you seen it?" podcast. Our YouTube channel is growing now. We just hit another milestone, 160 subscribers. We just hit that yesterday. So thank you guys for doing that. We got trailer reactions and all that on our YouTube channel. So be sure to check it out. Check this out episode on there too. If you can get through 2 hours of just watching me and Cash talk.
And thanks for watching, supporting, and listening.
Yeah,
and
thank
everything,
you. And liking the
because
videos and commenting.
2019 was a good year for us too. So
Really good year. We got some fun comments. This guy was just really upset at us
about what?
because we said something good about Shazam, and he commented 2 comments, super long.
Two
about
comments.
How ridiculous and how stupid we are, and how our podcast sucks. And then he disliked our video. I was like, "Pal,
Shazam? When was that? That was a Shazam review.
no, we brought it up on a trailer reaction for Wonder Woman 1984, the video that we just posted on our channel. And we brought up how much we like Shazam, and he called us a bunch of idiots and how we shouldn't be.
Well, that guy's listening right now.
Thanks, bro.
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, go fuck yourself. No, it was funny though. So follow us on social media pages: Twitter, Seen It Podcast; Instagram, Have You Seen It; Facebook, Have You Seen It? Have You Seen It Podcast. We post daily memes and stuff on Facebook, and you can find all of our information on our social media pages. You can find our podcast, audio format, anywhere you can find podcasts: Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Wherever you find them, that is where we're at. My name is Mason Knight. That is Cash Kraus. And until next time.
Bye.